Request for statement on the registration and regulation of education and immigration consultancy services in the country. Honorable Speaker, pursuant to Standing Order 44-2C, I rise to request for a statement from the Chairperson of the Departmental Committee on Administration and Internal Security regarding the registration and regulation of education and immigration consultancy services in the country. Honorable Speaker, the Directorate of Immigration Services regulates education and immigration consultant service in the country by issuing Class G permits to individuals or partnerships engaging in these services. These services typically assist with career counseling by helping students explore different career paths and find the most suitable academic programs in the right universities based on their academic profiles, goals, and preferences. These consultancy service companies, Madam Speaker, also assist with completing university applications, including follow-ups and ensuring all documents are submitted correctly, and providing support with visa applications, including gathering necessary documents, completing forms, and managing the application processes. Honorable Speaker, in the recent past, there has been a growing concern over the exploitation of unsuspecting students by rogue education and immigration consultancies, by rogue education and immigration consultants operating in the country. These entities often lure students and their families with attractive offers, promises of guaranteed admissions to foreign institutions, and swift immigration processes. However, many of these promises turn out to be misleading, resulting in significant financial loss and emotional distress for the affected individuals. This worrying trend underscores the urgent need for stricter regulation and oversight of education and immigration consultancy sector to protect vulnerable students from such unscrupulous practices. Honorable Speaker, it's against this backdrop that I request the Chairperson of the Departmental Committee on Administration and Internal Security to appraise the House on the following. 1, the number of companies currently registered with the Ministry to offer education and immigration consultancy services and the minimum requirements for registration. 2, the status of registration of one company by the name MAG Education and Immigration Consultancy Limited and the period for which it has been licensed to provide education and immigration services to Kenyan citizens. 3, to provide a detailed list including the names, educational qualifications, and counties of residence of students who have been successfully and unsuccessfully obtained education and immigration status through the services of MAG Education and Immigration Consultancy Limited. 4, the standard terms of agreement between these companies and the students seeking education and immigration services, an indication of whether the ministry consider the terms to constitute fair trade practices. And lastly, Madam Speaker, measures put in place to protect economically disadvantaged students and families from potential exploitation, especially in light of the current economic challenges. I thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Thank you. Chairperson, Internal Security is not here. Who's a member of the committee? Okay, so we'll ask Naomi Wako. Okay, who's a member of the Internal Security? You, Honorable Ngeleche, you want to give an undertaking on behalf of your committee? How long will you take to respond to that statement?
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Let me kindly request a period of 2 weeks, then we will be able to respond.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. Next statement by the Honorable Abdul Haro, member for Mandera South.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. I request for statement regarding issuance of duplicate degree certificates by universities. Honorable Speaker, pursuant to the provisions of Standing Order 44-2C, I wish to request for a statement from the Chairperson of the Departmental Committee on Education regarding the inability of universities in Kenya to issue certified duplicate degree certificates to graduates who lose their original certificates. Honorable Speaker, many Kenyans lose their degree certificates due to circumstances beyond their control, including theft, accidental destruction through fire and flooding, or general misplacement. Despite the critical role of these certificates in the professional and academic lives of graduates, the current process for addressing the loss is burdensome and ultimately unsatisfactory. Most universities do not issue a certified duplicate or replacement copy of the original degree certificate. Instead, they issue a letter of certification or confirmation of award, which only serves as an alternative reference to the lost certificate. A degree certificate is routinely required for employment, professional licensing, and further academic studies. While local institutions and employers may accept the letters of confirmation, these documents are often insufficient for international applications, where certified copies or reissued certificates are a mandatory requirement. The lack of a standardized degree certificate replacement policy affects not only the employability of graduates, but limits also access to academic and professional opportunities. Further, the inability to obtain a certified duplicate poses a security risk, as where an original certificate is lost and cannot be invalidated, there is a possibility of its fraudulent use by third parties. Honorable Speaker, it is against this background that I request for a statement from the chairperson of the Departmental Committee on Education on the following. 1. Rationale behind the current prohibition by the Ministry of Education on the issuance of certified duplicate certificates by universities to graduates who have lost their original degree certificates. 2. The measures the ministry is taking to develop a national policy framework to govern the replacement of degree certificates. And 3. The plans in place to standardize the replacement process across all universities in Kenya in line with the international best practices and the expected timelines for implementation. Thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Chairperson, Education Committee, when will you give your response?
Thank you. In 2 weeks' time, Madam Speaker.
Okay. We also have statements that are supposed to be, we still have one more request for a statement by the Honorable Wambugu Wanaina, member for Uthaya.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Request for statement regarding the low enrollment rate of students in the rural primary school and secondary school in Kenya. Honorable Speaker, pursuant to provision of Standing Order 442C, I raise to request for a statement from the chairperson of the Department Committee of Education regarding the low enrollment rate of students in the rural area primary school and secondary school in Kenya. Honorable Speaker, it is deeply concerning. The number of children who are out of school has been on the rise in the recent years. According to Environmental Literature and Numeracy Assessment report, which has launched in 2023, the percentage of school-aged children aged 6 years to 15 years who are out of school increased from 7.5% in 2021 to 8.5% in 2023. Trade is particularly evident in the rural areas, including Uthaya constituency in Nyeri County, where many day secondary schools that previously had the capacity to accommodate between 300 and 400 students are now operating well below their capacity. With several days secondary school registered fewer than 50 students. Honorable Speaker, education remains the critical tool for individual empowerment and advancing the economic, social, personal, and well-being of all citizens. A high dropout rate and poor or lack of enrollment of students diminishes the human capital available and jeopardizes the economic prosperity of the country in the future. Honorable Speaker, it is against this background that I request for a statement from the chairperson of the Department Committee on Education on the following. A report of the number of school-going children in Uthaya constituency and across the country indicating those in school and those out of school. 2, the measure by the government to restore student enrollment in areas such as Othaya constituency, which in the recent years has been declining in the number of students enrolled in primary and secondary school, And 3, the step taken by the government to avert the potential education crisis, especially in the light of the significant drop in enrollment rate owing to the prevailing economic challenges. I thank you, Mr. Speaker, Madam Speaker.
Chairperson, Education.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I think it will be ready in the next 2 weeks.
Okay, thank you. Next, we have a response from the Chairperson, Education, in response to a question raised by Honorable Timothy Toroitich, member for Marakwet West. Are you ready? Oh. You have an assistant.
Yeah, thank you, Madam Speaker. I wish to respond on the statement raised by the Honorable Timothy Toroitich, Member of Parliament for Marakwet West, on the status of secondary education quality improvement projects in Marakwet West, what is popularly called SEQIP. Honorable Speaker, it is true that the Ministry of Education, in collaboration with the World Bank, has been implementing the Kenya Secondary Education Quality Improvement Project, SEQIP. This was a 7-year initiative scheduled to run from 7 December 2017 to 31st December 2024. The project aimed to enhance student learning outcomes in secondary education and facilitate smooth transitions from primary to secondary school, particularly in targeted areas. Marakwet West was among the sub-counties selected to benefit from SEQIP interventions. These include A, recruitment of 102, that is for Marakwet West 61 and Marakwet East 41 teachers in science, mathematics, and English to address teacher shortages. B, retooling of 1,149 science, mathematics, and English teachers under school-based teacher support system. C, provision of textbooks for science, mathematics, English, and English in grades 7 and 8, that's our primary, and forms 1 to 4 secondary school. This led to an 82% achievement of the 1-to-1 textbook to student ratio in schools. D, Elgeyo Marakwet also benefited from the live-streamed lessons in science and mathematics. The necessary equipment and content were provided to select schools. The schools participating in the program included, that is, principal school is Kapswar Girls, satellite schools, Sambrir Girls, Kipkener Mixed Day, Tot Mixed Day, Kapcharo Boys, St. Peter's Marakwet Boys. E, implementation of the competence-based curriculum, CBC. All primary and junior secondary school teachers in the county have been retooled to support the rollout of CBC, which has now been implemented across all primary schools. F, a LIMU scholarship program to support equitable transition to secondary education. 185 learners from vulnerable and socio-economically disadvantaged backgrounds benefited from the LIMU scholarship program. 98 under cohort 1 and 87 under cohort 2. These students received full tuition for the 4-year secondary school cycle, a school kit that includes school uniform, basic learning materials, and personal effects, and stipend to cover pocket money and transportation. G, infrastructure development To enhance the learning environment and support retention, especially for girls in upper primary, the ministry undertook various construction projects. These include construction of additional classrooms and science laboratories to enhance access and quality of instruction. 2, construction of sanitation facilities to support student retention. The completed commissioned projects include the following. A, 1 laboratory and 2 classrooms at Moi, Kapsawar Girls. B, 1 classroom at Kapsawar Boys. C, 1 laboratory and 2 classrooms at St. Mark's Mixed Day and Boarding, Lite. 1 classroom at Chabara Boys. 1 laboratory at St. Peter's Marakwet Boys. 1 laboratory at Yemit Boys. This summarized as indicated in the table for projects handed over, that is complete and handed over. Classrooms 6, laboratories 4, sanitation facilities 0. Incomplete projects include classrooms 3, laboratories 6, sanitation facilities 4. We wish to clarify that Santa Maria Cheptulun was to benefit from the construction of only 2 classrooms and not 2 classrooms and 1 laboratory as indicated in Annex 4. Madam Speaker, reasons why the contractor Daya Agencies Limited abandoned the project's sites before completing all projects and before settling payments to suppliers. Honorable Madam Speaker, Daya Agencies Limited was awarded the contract by the ministry to undertake construction works in Marakwet, West Sub-County as follows. A, sanitation facilities, 4 primary schools. B, 10 laboratories for 10 secondary schools. 9 classrooms for 6 secondary schools. The contractor cited the following reasons for abandoning works before completion. 1, change in scope of work. Due to topography of the area, there was a variation in the works. However, a contract variation was not possible as this was a fixed price contract. B, challenging terrain. The terrain posed significant challenges, but since the contract was fixed, no variation could be applied to address these difficulties. C, serious insecurity issues. The contractor also highlighted serious security concerns in the area as indicated in Annex 5 and 6. Despite the challenges, the supervisor issued instructions to resume work and settle any outstanding debts. The contractor was additionally requested to submit commitment letter outlining their intention to fulfill any pending obligations. However, the contractor failed to comply with the instructions as indicated in Annex 7 and 8. Question number 3 is what measures the Ministry of Education is taking to ensure that the unfinished projects are completed and affected suppliers are paid the outstanding dues. Honorable Speaker, the Ministry is exploiting internal solutions to address the gaps in the incomplete projects. We will also seek to leverage additional partnership to fulfill these gaps, The Ministry is not privy to arrangements between Daya Agencies Limited and the suppliers. Any contractual arrangements were between Daya Agencies Limited and the suppliers and settled the claims arising from the agencies between Daya Agencies Limited and its suppliers are to be addressed between the parties in accordance with their contractual framework. As the Ministry was not involved, the Ministry has already paid the contractor to the extent of the certified works done. Question number 4. What plans to the Ministry, by the Ministry to review its contractor selection and monitoring process in future projects to prevent similar occurrences? Honorable Speaker, the Ministry has adopted a decentralized approach for implementation of projects. For example, the construction of 9 classrooms was undertaken by the schools directly. What does this mean, Madam Speaker, is that the Ministry will channel money directly to the school and the school will source for a contractor. The Ministry dispersed the funds to schools which then procure contractors and monitor the implementation of the projects. So we give money directly to schools and they are able to procure locally. To enhance monitoring and supervision, the ministry will leverage the Geo-Enabling Initiative for Monitoring and Supervision, GAMES, which has been integrated into the National Education Management Information Systems, NAMIS. Through the embedded COBO, or toolbox, data on school infrastructure will be efficiently captured by both school administrators and field officers. The GAMES tool has been fully incorporated into NAMIS to facilitate real-time monitoring on infrastructure development. We respectfully submit, Madam Speaker.
Thank you. Honorable Timothy Teretich, do you want to say anything about the statement?
Thank you, Honorable Speaker, for giving an opportunity to react on that statement. Honorable Speaker, that particular statement does not meet the threshold of a response from a committee that should be able to conduct thorough investigations on such a serious matter. Honorable Speaker, on 14th of March, I brought this statement for this House. Honorable Speaker, these are SECIP projects, secondary education quality improvement projects in my constituency. Honorable Speaker, these were 23 projects. Out of the 23 projects, only 13 were completed. 10 were never started. Some were started and midway the projects have collapsed. Honorable Speaker, the projects are wasting. And Honorable Speaker, you'll be shocked by the report that the committee, my former committee, has given to this House. Honorable Speaker, for the 10 projects that were never started, not completed, one of the grounds they have given, Honorable Speaker, was that over challenging terrain. Honorable Speaker, you are my neighbor in Uasin Gishu. Tell me, Honorable Speaker, St. Teresa Koibara Girls, that is in Marakwet West, Santa Maria Cheptulon, Chebara Girls, Kapcherop, where is the challenging terrain in that area? Honorable Speaker, this is a serious matter that this committee must take up seriously. Honorable Speaker, the second issue they have given, the second reason they have given for not completing, not even start the project, was serious security issues. Where? In Marakwet West. We only have one challenge in one constituency in Marakwet West. Another Maklap is my neighbor in Baringo North. Only a rural ward has security challenges. Honorable Speaker, you are my neighbor in Uasin Gishu. One of the projects that has not been completed, not even started, is in Chebororo Girls. Honorable Speaker, this is a joke. And the problem, Honorable Speaker, that we have with regard to statements in this House is that the committees just actually take and swallow reports from the ministry, hook, line, and sinker, without investigating. Honorable Speaker.
Hold on, there's a point of order by the chairperson of education.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, what Honorable Toroitich is saying is quite untrue. We did a thorough investigation. It is him who actually failed to attend a committee session where we put down the CS on his behalf. He is an absentee member because when we had the CS before us, we notified him, we told him to come, he could not do it. The chair is just conveying, and we did a lot of work for you as a member of Marakwet West. In fact, we even asked the questions you are asking us now. So the fact that you come here and say the committee has not done anything, these members, we even went and asked, every contractor has a reconnaissance visit. Why would they not give us the issue of challenging terrain? So in effect, Madam Speaker, I rise here to say that we as a Committee of Education, we did our work. It took us about 2 hours interrogating your question. Now that you come here and say the committee has done nothing is quite absurd, Honorable Toroitich. I think you need to style up and show that we are very serious on that.
Honorable Toroitich, did you attend the committee
Honorable Speaker,
hearing?
I wish to remind.
Hold on, Honorable Toroitich, just to confirm a fact. Did you attend the committee hearing?
Chair, I will cite reasons for not attending the committee.
No, but did you?
I did attend. But Chair, I was invited. And I informed the clerk of the committee that I was in another meeting in Mombasa, and I was never given a chance for extension of that meeting. But Honorable Speaker, despite that, Honorable Chair, Honorable Meli must be reminded of Article 125 of the Constitution of Kenya, that when a committee of parliament sits, it has the same powers, similar to that of the High Court, to investigate a matter. Honorable Speaker, they are the ones to visit the projects and give this House a detailed response. It is not for him to require a member to attend to a committee to give reports, whereas when they are sitting pursuant
There's a
to
point
Article
of order from
125.
the member of game.
Madam Speaker, I've listened to the chairman of education, my brother, the Honorable Meli. He did not dispute a fact that the Honorable member said that the committee swallowed the report from the ministry. I think from a phonological point of view, that English is correct. Thank you.
I hope Honorable Toroitich, you stand corrected. You can still write further questions for the committee without being consistent.
Honorable Speaker, they swallowed the report of the ministry hook, line, and sinker. And I have no apology about that. They just took the report of the ministry the way it is without further interrogating the report from the ministry. Chairman, Honorable Speaker.
Honorable Toroitich, you are a lawyer. If one appears in court and only the plaintiff is there and the defendant doesn't appear, the court will make a decision based on the presentations and petition of the plaintiff without considering from the defendant. That's why we have default judgments, and you know that. So in your absence to prosecute your case, then the decision makers only rely on one side.
Honorable Speaker.
So I think it's important that you take responsibility. You can ask the committee to relook at your matter, but on the undertaking that you will appear.
Honorable Speaker, with due respect to the ruling you've given, Honorable Speaker, Article 125 is very clear that when a committee of parliament is sitting, they are equivalent to the High Court. They should interrogate witnesses. They should actually visit where the sites that I have mentioned, so that they can take evidence. Honorable Speaker, the committee has given a report that is unsubstantiated, and therefore, Honorable Speaker, I kindly request that pursuant to Article 125, as read with Standing Order 1, that you direct that the committee visits actually the projects to ascertain the actual problem that we have on the ground. Thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Yeah, Honorable Toroitich, I don't think you understand. Let me repeat what I said. Honorable Toroitich, like we said, you're saying they have the powers of a high court. Our courts are an adversarial system. Both sides must appear. If one side does not appear, a default judgment. That means a judgment in the absence of considering the other side's case will be made. Had you appeared before the committee, you would then have requested that they visit the site. But you're telling the committee did move on. You wanted it to move on its own motion without guidance from you who had made the question. So I think it's important that, yes, what you have raised is very significant. And I recognize that. And that's why I'm saying the easiest way to resolve the problem in the interest of the members of the public and the students who are suffering, that you re-raise your matter, you raise it again before the committee, and this time request that they be present and request that the committee goes to the site to be, and even with your guidance, since you know those particular sites, to look at it and the matter will be resolved, because the blame game is not going to help the members of the public who we are trying to serve.
I am well guided, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, having made that ruling, I also request that now that you redirect that this matter be taken back to the committee, I will do a letter to reappear before the committee and make my submissions so that the committee can fully investigate this matter, because, Honorable Speaker, there is no value for money for these projects. We have used a lot, the ministry has used a lot of money for this project. Honorable Speaker, you will be shocked.
Honorable Toroitich, mentioning rhetoric does not solve the problem. That's why I'm giving you a solution. Resubmit your request to the committee, pointing out the shortcomings of the report that has been presented, but accusations and making rhetoric statements is not going to help the public. That's why I'm saying let's go to a solution issue. We'll close this matter. We've agreed what you're going to do. Honorable Member for Baringo, let's proceed.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I think I am the neighbor of Honorable Toroitich. And we as the Committee of Education are more serious than the Member of Parliament. For once, we interrogated. What he's saying, you did not interrogate. How did you know that you did not interrogate and yet it did not appear in the meeting? Madam Speaker, and Madam Speaker, this SEQUIP project, including Baringo North, most of the projects of SEQUIP are not complete. Why? And if you read the statement, Honorable Toroitich, the last statement says, the ministry appreciated that there is a problem in this thing because the procurement was done in the ministry headquarters without doing site visits on the ground. And therefore, the ministry are now saying we are adopting a centralized approach of sending the money directly to the schools in Elgeyo Marakwet, in Baringo, so that those projects are completed, Madam Speaker. A solution has been provided. So instead of taking us around and asking other questions, let him pursue with us and the ministry so that all of us, including Baringo North and Tinteret, who have projects of SEQUIP which are not incomplete, and all these members are able to be implemented rather than taking us back and not coming for meetings, Madam Speaker. I think we are in the same boat, Toroitich. Even in my constituency, we have a problem of SEQUIP. And the minister has provided a solution, and funds will be there. So please, instead of writing other messages to this committee and so on, let us work together to ensure that what the minister has committed to do is able to do in good time. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Okay, I'll just say in closing, I will allow the chairperson of the Education Committee.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Also, in responding to what my colleague, I want to further what he's saying. In fact, during the interrogation on the issue of SEQUIP, SEQUIP covers 131 constituencies in this country. And there was a poor workmanship, and even in the administration of the whole project. And we did agree there was change of policy. Two things. One, that the money, that the procurement will never be centralized anymore. That two, all the projects that are not be completed, the ministry undertake with our committee that we need to undertake and have a very clear tour, oversight of these projects. The fact that Honorable Toroitich was absent and is not aware of this indicates that the member is completely out of order and is not true to his duties as a member of Parliament. So absenteeism cannot be a case of point here. Honorable Speaker.
Honorable members, now this is becoming an altercation between the member and the committee, so we'll move to the next response requested by the Honorable Rashid, member for Kisauni. Okay, Chairperson Education, you have a response? Who's making the statement?
Madam Speaker.
Oh, yes. Member for
Kibra. I rise to make a response on the request for a statement on the criteria for recognition and equation of certificates and a diploma obtained from schools offering international curriculum in Kenya. This was asked by Honorable Rashid Benzima, MP for Kisauni constituency. Madam Speaker, the question has three limbs, which we wish to respond as follows. The reasons for the inordinate delay in NEC in formulating guidelines on equation of certificates or diplomas obtained from schools offering international curriculum within the country. 2. Section 10(2)(e) of the Kenya National Examination Council Act 2012 outlines one of the functions of NEC as being to equate certificates issued by accredited foreign examining bodies with the qualifications awarded by the Council. 3. Section 48 of the same Acts grants the Council the powers to make rules, including rules of the equations of certificates, including prescribing what examinations may be equated by the Council. 4. Pursuant to this provision, the Council enacted the Kenya National Examination Council Equation of Certificate Rules 2015 and the Guidelines on Equation of Foreign Certificates, which was revised in Edition 4, Annex 1 and A and B. 5. Both the rules and the guidelines provide that the Council shall not equate a certificate for a course offered within Kenya and identical or similar to that offered by the Council. B. Foreign certificates awarded within Kenya. And C. Any other certificate that, in the opinion of the Council, may be non-equitable. 6. On the basis of these legal provisions, NEC was not equating certificates or diplomas obtained from schools offering international curriculum in Kenya. At that time, the justification was based on a range of reasons: the narrow content level in a number of subjects, disparity in terms of subject contents, and in a majority of the subjects, difference in administration of the examination. That equation would lead to exodus from the Kenya system. That paper format of the two systems is different. That candidates willingly choose to do that system, despite the choice to do the Kenya education system. And that candidates sit a number of papers in several sittings over a number of years. Unlike in the Kenyan system, where candidates take all examination papers once. But this position was declared unconstitutional by the High Court in the case of Dennis Kaboya Mucheke versus Kenya National Exam Council and two others. The court found that the foregoing rules and guidelines to be unconstitutional for being discriminatory. 9. Following the judgment, the NEC has been working with various exam bodies to develop the method for equating these certificates. The Kenya Association of International Schools has been coordinating the submission of the documents required for the development of the equation criteria from various examination boards operating in Kenya. The development of an equation criterion entails evaluation of the curriculum in question, teaching syllabi, mode of teaching, assessment, grading, and certification in order to ascertain how a given curriculum would compare with the Kenyan education system. This is an exercise undertaken by NEC subjects officers together with the Kenya Institute of Curriculum Development and the Directorate of Quality Assurance at the Ministry of Education. Madam Speaker, to date, the equation criteria of Mr. Speaker, the equation criteria of two main foreign exam boards, that is Pearson, EdXL, and International Baccalaureate, have been developed and are being implemented. Cambridge International, which is also a major exam board operating in Kenya, is in the process of submitting documents for evaluation. The measures undertaken by the Ministry of Education to facilitate the equation of certificates and diplomas obtained from international schools in the country, thereby allowing these students access to local university admission and public sector employment opportunities. The action taken by the Ministry of Education to address the challenges faced by these students of international curricula who are impacted by NEC. Mr. Speaker, sir, as indicated above, the legal provision that has been preventing NEC from equating certificates and other diplomas obtained from schools offering international curricula were nullified by the High Court. Consequently, NEC is now working with the examination bodies and other stakeholders to develop criteria for equation. As noted earlier, for examination bodies for which the criteria have been developed, NEC is already undertaking equation. We are working with other exam bodies to develop the criteria for the equation in respect of their certificate and diplomas. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Asante sana Mheshimiwa Spika kunipa fursa ya kuweza kuchangia majibu haya ambayo yametoka kwa kamati ya elimu. Kwanza niwapongeze sana kamati ya elimu kwa bidii na juhudi waliofanya, kwa sababu swala hili limechukua muda mrefu kujibiwa, lakini wamechukua nafasi na jukumu la kuweza kumuita waziri kuja kumuuliza. Hata mimi niliulizwa kama nina nafasi niweze kukaa hapo. Kwa hivyo mimi nimeridhika na majibu hayo, nimeridhika kwa moyo wangu wote, lakini nitasema nitahimiza ile kamati ambayo inashughulikia kwamba wanakuja kuafikiana, wachukue kwa haraka waweze kuafikiana, ili wale wanaopata shida kule nje isipatikane tena. Sasa kuna ajira zinakuja za jeshi, za polisi, kwa hivyo lazima wao wahusishwe, ajira za kiserikali. Kwa hivyo waharakishe ili iwe wazi sasa kwamba ni sheria iwe yaweza kutumika. Ingawa wizara wasingoje mpaka koti itoe maamuzi kwamba hiyo ni kinyume cha katiba. Wawe wanafikiria kama wametoa leseni, watoto wanasomeshwa hapa, wawe tayari kuwahudumia hapa. Asante sana Mheshimiwa Spika. Asante.
You don't need to say anything on that really, do you? Go ahead.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I want to say that the only thing I understood from my colleague, because he spoke in Kiswahili, I only understood ameridhika. So they have translated that it means that he is satisfied with the response. Okay. And I want to congratulate him because he personally attended the meeting and he was able to ask his question, unlike the other former colleague who did not attend. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you, well said. You surely know there's nothing out of order there. What is it?
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. You know, the honorable member, when he was responding, said a lot of Kiswahili words. And Honorable Orero, whose family I know very well, they were immediate neighbors when we were growing up, has said that he only knows the word kuredhika. And Mr. Speaker, I know him and I, we face similar challenges. And I know there is a very similar Kiswahili word which means succession. So I hope he is not thinking that this is an issue of succession, of wife inheritance. So perhaps it needs to be translated for in English.
The Honorable Orero, umeridhika?
Mr. Speaker, I like the way my colleague always thinks about succession because he knows we come from the same area and I am a potential for that succession. But I thank her very much for allowing me to know that he thinks about myself. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. She thinks about myself.
She thinks about you.
Yeah, every time.
She thinks about you every time. Okay. Members, before we go to the next order, join me in welcoming students from Nguluni Secondary School, Kaiti constituency, Makueni County. They are sitting in the public gallery. And students from South Tetu Girls High School, Mkroeni constituency, Nyeri, they are sitting in the speaker's gallery. They are welcomed for the proceedings this morning and to the Houses of Parliament. Next order.
Order number. Order number 8, the Agriculture and Livestock Extension Services Bill, Senate Bill number 12 of 2022. Question to be put.
Members, I will defer that question to be put the next time this bill is put in the order paper for obvious reasons, for lack of numbers. Next order.
Order number 9, the Basic Education Amendment Bill, National Assembly Bill number 3 of 2025, first reading.
The Honorable Nyikal. What did he do? I thought he was...
A bill for an act of parliament to amend the Basic Education Act 2013 and for connected purposes. Order number 10, Committee of the Whole House.
Before we go to the committee, the Honorable Nyikal.
use that. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I wish to ask that we actually stand down this order. The last time we had it, it was agreed that there was some number of clauses where we had to harmonize, and I was given the task to harmonize between the proposer and also the Honorable Kaluma, who had brought many amendments. We have started that process. And Mr. Speaker, it's a little lengthy process. We are working on it. We are making progress. And I would ask that we get more time to actually complete the process. And therefore, I ask that this order be stood down. Once again, hopefully for the last time, we intend to finish it and bring it up. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
There's the Honorable Millie Odhiambo.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, we actually engaged with Honorable Kaluma and Honorable Nyikal on this bill yesterday. All I want to say, Mr. Speaker, is that if you actually look at the very first time it was stepped down for harmonization, it's been a very long time. I think it's almost now a year, if my memory serves me right. So I've agreed actually for a last harmonization process. So we were actually waiting so that after this we go for that harmonization, because I agree largely with most of the proposed amendments by the committee. So the harmonization we need to agree is much more between me and Kaluma and Honorable Karuma Soli and the committee. And I would want to request that should we not be able to complete by next week, that we should proceed the next time it is here. Maybe not by tomorrow, but next week. I would be ready, able, and willing to proceed. And finally, Mr. Speaker, I just wanted to say, and I've noticed Honorable Borrero has left, but I made reference to their family. I know their family, they were neighbors. He was my junior in Luo culture. Juniors don't inherit, so I will be training him about culture. I know he's a Nairobian. I will be training him about culture.
Honorable Borrero is here, he's back, but I'll not give him a chance because if he's your junior, then he can't comment on those kind of matters as regards you. As regards you especially, he can't comment on that matter as regards you. Honorable Kaluma, this issue of harmonization. Honorable Kaluma, 1 minute on this issue of harmonization.
Yes, Speaker, harmonization of the amendments was ordered by the Speaker the previous time. We are making good progress. I think we have even agreed that straight from here, if the Speaker allows the stepping down of this motion, we are proceeding into a meeting to continue with the process. The challenge, of course, Honorable Speaker, has been this season. I think we have all these budget things which have been going on, so we were frustrated in our meeting yesterday. But also, this is a bill which, Honorable Speaker, you will note is a 52-clause bill. But the amendments proposed, some very substantive, are also over 60 new provisions. So it requires that in addition to the novelty of the matter the bill is dealing with, those of us who are very concerned about it get good time to thrash it, because it's a very novel area.
Thank you.
So we commit to the House, Honorable Speaker, that Honorable Millie, of course, is in the leadership. Honorable Speaker, Honorable Nyikal is in the leadership as chair of the committee in charge of health. I assist you, Honorable Speaker, at times. Our commitment is that if the House grants adjournment in the manner it did for purposes of harmonization, we return to the House with progress. Not that we disagreed. So I also crave your indulgence in the manner the chair of the health committee has indicated, that we go for harmonization and return to the House with something more substantive in terms of progress. I thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Thank you. In view of the fact that this matter for harmonization has taken a long time, it's actually more than a year, I order that the report of that exercise of harmonization be brought to the House on Wednesday next week. And I hope you understand that we want a report of the harmonization. Whether it's a blank page or agreed clauses, we have to get a report before we go into the committee. I hope that's understood. So we'll expect a report from you, Chairperson, Health Committee, alongside the bill itself. So the order number 10 is therefore accordingly stood down. Next order.
Order number 11, the County Government's Amendment Bill, Senate Bill number 25 of 2023. Second reading.
The Honorable Timothy Toritich.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker, for that opportunity. Honorable Speaker, this morning I had intended to move this bill, the County Government's Amendment Bill 2023, which, Honorable Speaker, is a bill for an Act of Parliament to amend the County Governments Act to increase the threshold for the removal of a member of a county executive committee and for connected purposes. But, Honorable Speaker, with a lot of humility, I would wish that this bill be stood down or be deferred for the reason, Honorable Speaker, that we had an engagement with the chairperson committee on security, which actually was to second this bill on some aspects of the bill, as well as the move of the motion of the bill at the Senate, the sponsor of the bill at the Senate, the Honorable Cherargei. Honorable Speaker, for that reason, and also to add some value to this, to my submission in the second reading, I humbly request that this bill be deferred to the Wednesday of 2nd July if the House so orders. Thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Okay, thank you so much, the Honorable Timothy. For the reasons advanced by the Honorable Timothy, this bill is also stood down to the next time it is read in order paper. I won't be able to say when, as of now. Thank you. Next order.
Order number 12, motion. Implementation of the universal health coverage, end of a policy on mandatory use of public health care facilities by public officers.
The Honorable Sabina Chege. The Honorable Sabina Chege is not in the House. I hope she's informed about this motion coming up today. Because she's not there, the motion is also stood down for the reason of absence of the mover. Next order.
Order number 13, motion. Formulation of a regulatory framework on artificial intelligence in the country.
The Honorable Marianne Kikitang. Interesting. Members are aware of their motions being the order paper and they're not turning up. The motion is also deferred for the reason of absence of the sponsor. Next order.
Order number 14, motion. Formulation of a land use policy on zoning of land for agriculture and built development.
Honorable Timothy Wanyonyi. Also not in the House. So members, the order therein is stood down for absence of the sponsor of the motion. Next order.
Order number 15, motion. Formulation of a reward scheme for accomplishments by sports persons in international competitions.
The Honorable Charles Ngusia. Very interesting. Next order.
Order number 16, motion. Expansion of major roads in the country to dual carriageway.
The Honorable Faith Gitau.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. I beg to move that aware that the Kenya Roads Act 2007 provides for the establishment of road authorities responsible for, among other functions, the management and development of roads under their respective purview and for developing and providing adequate transport infrastructure that guarantees safe and efficient movement of people, goods, and services across the country and beyond, further aware that the first schedule of the Kenya Roads Act provides for the classification of national trunk roads in classes A, B, and C, recognizing that the fourth schedule to the Constitution assigns to the national government the function of construction and operation of national trunk roads, noting that a significant portion of highways in the national trunk road network are currently single carriageways, concerned that single carriageway roads pose multifaceted challenges including traffic congestion during peak periods, which limits movement of people, goods, and services across regions and increases vulnerability to road accidents, further concerned that the lack of footbridges and safe pedestrian crossing areas on these high traffic roads has been a leading contributor to the surge in road accidents in the recent past, cognizant of the duty of the government to provide a reliable transport system for efficient traffic management, economic development, and bolstering interconnectivity among all regions in the country and beyond. Now, therefore, this House resolves that the government, through the Ministry of Roads and Transport, undertakes an expansion program of national trunk roads with a view of upgrading all classes A, B, and C roads in the country from two-way lanes, dual carriageway, one-way roads, with the necessary infrastructure that include footbridges, safe crossing zones at regular intervals, proper drainage systems, and other requisite infrastructure for their optimal operation. Honorable Speaker, the efficient functioning of a country's economy depends largely on the adequacy and efficiency of its transport system. An efficient transportation network plays a significant role in accessing public facilities both in rural and urban areas of the country. The main purpose of effective transportation, Honorable Speaker, especially in urban areas, is to meet the demand for passenger and freight movement. One fundamental fact is that transportation is an indispensable component of the economy, playing a pivotal role in connecting cities and driving growth. Honorable Speaker, our country faces significant challenges in areas of road safety, traffic congestion, and urban infrastructure, particularly along major highways. In recent times, road accidents have become alarmingly common, often resulting in the loss of lives. Recent statistics regarding road accidents from the National Transport and Safety Authority, NTSA, paints a very grim picture. Between 1st January and 30th March 2024, 7,198 Kenyans were involved in road accidents. Tragically, 1,189 persons lost their lives, while 3,316 were seriously injured. Most alarmingly, pedestrians accounted for the highest fatalities. These figures underscore the critical need for the Ministry of Roads and Transport to undertake decisive action to ensure road safety. The rapid growth of our population has exacerbated these issues, leading to increased traffic volumes and severe congestion in major cities. To address these challenges, we must implement targeted road engineering solutions, particularly the expansion of major roads into dual carriageways. Additionally, we need to implement sophisticated movement control measures such as traffic lights, pedestrian crossing, warning signs, and road markings. These measures will not only ensure road safety, but also provide a platform for economic growth and development by easing the movement of goods and the people. Honorable Speaker, the fourth schedule to our Constitution clearly lays out the distribution of functions between the national government and county governments. Part 1, Section 18 assigns the national government responsibility for road traffic and the construction and operation of national trunk roads. Furthermore, the Kenya Roads Act 2007 established the Kenya National Highways Authority, that is KENHA, responsible for the development, rehabilitation, management, and maintenance of all national trunk roads. This includes Class A, B, C roads in linking centers of international and national importance. Honorable Speaker, a detailed review of collision data from KENHA's Black Spot Management Report 2018, covering 2011 to 2016, ranked the top 30 high crash locations on roads under their mandate. Each of these locations recorded at least 5 collisions in a calendar year, highlighting the urgent need for intervention. Honorable Speaker, the rising cases of grisly accidents on Nairobi-Nakuru Highway are largely due to the road's design. This highway should be fully upgraded to a dual carriageway to reduce the carnage we've witnessed due to high traffic flow. The section from Rironi, Naivasha, Nakuru has been prone to serious traffic jams, especially during major holidays. Similarly, the Nairobi-Mombasa Highway should be converted to a dual carriageway to address increasing traffic congestion. This upgrade would reduce travel time from 10 hours to 4 hours, facilitating faster transit and improved connectivity between our capital and our major port city. The Rironi-Mai-Mahiu-Narok-Bomet Road, despite being a crucial gateway to many counties, is dangerously narrow. Expanding this road to a dual carriageway would reduce traffic snarls that result in millions of shillings in losses. This and many other national trunk roads that serve as a conduit between cities should be expanded to dual carriageway. Honorable Speaker, there is also need to accord extra attention to appropriate road engineering designs to enhance the safety of all road users. KENHA should design roads to move traffic at appropriate speeds, apply techniques to control speeds, improve visibility at intersections, and physically separate highways in urban areas from pedestrians. Many of our roads are narrow and do not account for the exponential growth in vehicle traffic. Statistics show a high percentage of accidents are head-on collisions. especially at known black spot areas. The successful design of the road on Sarga area along Nakuru Eldoret Road to a dual carriageway proves that a redesign on major national trunk roads can significantly reduce traffic accidents. Honorable Speaker, Kenya should also provide engineering facilities like footbridges, central barriers, road underpasses, and sidewalks to safeguard pedestrians and non-motorized traffic. They should address the insufficient or absent road signs and markings at dangerous sites, which contribute to many accidents. A prime example is the Waiyaki dual carriage from James Gechoro to Rironi. The road lacks essential safety measures. It has no lighting, no marked strips, lacks service lanes, and has no pedestrian crossing. It is crucial to note that this area serves a large population from surrounding towns such as Kangemi, Odhero, Keno, Kikuyu, Zambezi, and other nearby settlements. As we upgrade our national trunk roads to dual carriageways, we must also ensure that the necessary infrastructure that includes footbridges, safe crossing zones at regular intervals, and other requisite infrastructure for their optimal operation. Additionally, Honorable Speaker, we must replace non-standard and non-retroreflective road signage with high-intensity signs for better visibility, especially at night. Honorable Speaker, the impact of dual carriageways for sustainable socio-economic development of any nation cannot be overemphasized. The dualing of classes A, B, and C roads should be prioritized, as this would go a long way in reducing transit time and minimizing accidents caused by dangerous overtaking. Moreover, enhancing our road infrastructure will significantly bolster our economy by easing the movement of goods and people, decongesting major cities, and reducing transportation costs. Improved road networks will attract investment, stimulate trade, and create job opportunities, thereby fostering economic development across all regions of our country. In conclusion, Honorable Speaker, and in light of these considerations, I urge this House to support this motion for the betterment of our nation's infrastructure, economy, and most importantly, the protection of Kenyan lives. This expansion will be a critical step towards a safer and more prosperous country. By investing in this road expansion program, we are investing in the future of our country, a future where citizens can live and travel safely. Our businesses can thrive and our economy grows further. Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, I beg to move and request Honorable Pauline Ruiz, County Member of Parliament for Saburu, to second.
Honorable Pauline seconds. 1 minute, Honorable Pauline. Members, join me in welcoming students from DEB Kianda Primary School, Buri constituency from Meru County, and students from Bishop Lawrence Bisone School, North Imenti, Meru County. They are welcome to follow proceedings this morning and to the Houses of Parliament. Honorable Pauline.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I rise to second the motion. Mr. Speaker, this is a very important motion for the people of Kenya. Mr. Speaker, we have experienced a lot of traffic on our roads, a lot of accidents, And we know many people of Kenya, Mr. Speaker, depend on the roads for businesses, for movement of people, and also for the movement of goods. So, Mr. Speaker, implementation of this motion will help us in reducing the accidents and will prosper the growth of our country. So this is a very important motion, Mr. Speaker, and I also beg the House to support and to ensure that implementation has been done. I support, Mr. Speaker. I second. Thank you.
Honourable members, I therefore propose the motion for debate that, aware that the Kenya Roads Act 2007 provides for the establishment of road authorities responsible for, among other functions, the management and development of roads under their respective purview, and for developing and providing adequate transport infrastructure that guarantees safe and efficient movement of the people, goods, and services across the country and beyond. Further, aware that the first schedule of the Kenya Roads Act provides for the classification of national trunk roads into classes A, B, and C, recognizing that the fourth schedule of the Constitution assigns the national government the function of construction and operation of national trunk roads, noting that a significant portion of highways in the national trunk road network are currently single carriageways, concerned that single carriageway roads pose multifaceted challenges, including traffic congestion during peak periods, which limit movement of people, goods, and services across regions and increases vulnerability to road accidents. Further concerned that the lack of footbridges and safe pedestrian crossing areas on these high traffic roads has been a leading contributor to the surge in road accidents in the recent past, and cognizant of the duty of the government to provide a reliable transport system for efficient traffic management, economic development, and bolstering interconnectivity among all regions in the country and beyond. Now, therefore, this House resolves that the government, through the Ministry of Roads and Transport, undertakes an expansion program of national trunk roads with a view of upgrading all classes A, B, and C necessary infrastructure that include footbridges, safe crossing zones at regular roads in the country, from two-way lanes to dual carriageway, one-way roads with intervals, proper drainage systems, and other requisite infrastructure for the optimal operation. The Honourable Deputy Majority Leader.
Thank you, Honourable Speaker. Honourable Speaker, I want to stand to support this motion by the Honourable Faith Gitau, MP, on the expansion of major roads in the country to dual carriageways. Honourable Speaker, but before I go into the details of the motion and to offer my very sincere support, I want to take cognizance of the fact that today is Wednesday morning. We as a Parliament and National Assembly spare time for members' businesses, private members' business, that includes bills and motions. But Honourable Speaker, it is very sad to note that members sponsor bills, motions, they are put on the calendar and they are programmed to be debated today, but they fail to turn up, Honourable Speaker, that we have to step down, these motions. Honourable Speaker, we would have used that time properly if they had given notice that they would not be here. The clerk of the assembly does a very good job to remind every member early morning, even previous, a day before, that these are the motions that will be on the order paper. And the order paper is available. And members, I expect them to look at the order paper, and if you not be available, to actually say it in good time so that your motion is not put. There are very many members here, Honourables, who have motions, but those motions are not programmed because others are ahead of them. But Honourable Speaker, to have a situation like this is unacceptable. So I would like to ask members, if you have a motion, if you have a bill, I'm sure the Honourable Kajwang has a bill that has been scheduled to come later. He's a good member, he comes to the House all the time. But his bill cannot find space because others are ahead, and yet those people do not come to the chamber. It is a waste of good time, a waste of honourable time. Honourable Speaker, we need to discourage members. And I want to ask you, Honourable Speaker, we do not just reschedule this or defer the motions. We drop them completely from the order paper so that they don't appear again, so that members know that when you have a business on the floor of the House, you actually come to do that business instead of doing the kind of things that we are seeing. Honourable Speaker, I want to support Honourable Gitau's motion, roads and road network is very important for this nation. For development to occur, for economic progress to occur, Honorable Speaker, for the progress of the nation, we need road networks everywhere in the country, good roads to ensure that businesses, farmers, and economic activities are carried out very well, Honorable Speaker. But we have, Honorable Speaker, now is a situation where the roads that we have, the good roads that we have, Honorable Speaker, are congested. There is a lot of traffic snarl up in the city, Honorable Speaker. Probably we are becoming worse than New York as we progress. Honorable Speaker, now, if you look at the expressway, I've been on the expressway, I think, 2 weeks ago, and I actually realized that as you're on the expressway and you watch down on the other road, it's not moving. 1 hour, it's not moving. The expressway now is becoming even more congested. Honorable Speaker, we have a problem which we must solve. Otherwise, it will stall the progress of this country, especially in this city. If this city is locked down by traffic jam, there is no economic activity that will happen. What we do, we waste man hours, we waste resources, we waste human resource capital on the roads because there's traffic snarl up, Honorable Speaker, especially in the mornings when everybody wants to rush. So I want to request that as we move forward as government, we must, like Faith Gitau says, do all our roads so that we have dual carriageways in Nairobi. Honorable Speaker, one of the problems that I have seen is the problem of roundabouts. The more roundabouts you have in this city, the more traffic congestion you have. If you look at the road from the Langata Road, the road that goes to Langata, before, that roundabout used to be one of the lock-up areas. You get to that roundabout on the Raila Odinga way, you know, and going up to Langata, it used to be locked completely for a whole day because of traffic. But when they did the upper pass and the underpass, Honorable Speaker, now it has eased. Just a simple bridge that was done there, and it eased traffic, Honorable Speaker. I want to request the city, county of Nairobi and the Ministry of Roads to actually move with speed to remove these roundabouts in this country that actually cause huge traffic jam as we prepare to do all our roads. But Mr. Speaker, as I speak about roads here in Nairobi and other towns that there is major traffic snarl up, the Nairobi-Mombasa road, before you actually get to Machakos, you do like 4 hours in Nairobi. You go to Machakos and then probably do 4 hours and you're almost in Mombasa. Then when you get to Mombasa, Honorable Speaker, you get the jam again. So you do 16 hours on the road just because you can't leave Nairobi faster and you can't get into Mombasa faster. Honorable Speaker, I am happy that this government is considering dualling that road. And I think the contract is in the offing to ensure that we dual that road to Mombasa and actually give, you know, the port of Mombasa, for it to be efficient, for the port of Mombasa to be efficient, it requires good road networks. If you don't have good road networks, Honorable Speaker, you'll always have delay of goods from the port. So I want to request that we expedite the process of dualling the Mombasa-Nairobi road so that we can ease business. But also, Honorable Speaker, this is very important to say. Agriculture still remains the mainstay of this country. A lot of agricultural activities happen in the rural areas. But these rural areas have a problem of roads. They are not just tarmac roads. They are not even graded roads. They are just rough earth roads. What we lose in terms of post-harvest losses, Honorable Speaker, is colossal. Because you can't get your goods to the market because of bad roads. But these roads, Honorable Speaker, mostly are in the hands of the counties. Counties that receive billions of money, not only the county allocation, but even more special allocations that we vote in this floor, Honorable Speaker. But governors and county governments, Honorable Speaker, do not consider the importance of ensuring that those roads are more important than the seats and the carpets and the vehicles that they drive around. If they were to open the roads in the rural areas and tarmac them, Honorable Speaker, and ensure that farmers have good access of their products to the market, Honorable Speaker, they will raise more revenue. and even use that revenue to even buy golden seats if they want, Honorable Speaker. But what they do is they want to buy the seats, you know, Honorable Speaker, before they open taps for revenue to come in. One of the best ways to open taps for revenue to come in into the counties, Honorable Speaker, is to ensure you have access of farm products to the markets, Honorable Speaker. So I want to request counties that are there to have a target.
I hate to interrupt you, but last time I checked, you were in some county as a very senior official.
Yes.
I hope you didn't buy a seat.
No, Honorable Speaker. When I served as in the county, Honorable Speaker, I ensured that money went into roads, hospitals, and proper infrastructure for the people. When I actually sat on a very simple seat that I bought around 2,000 shillings, Honorable Speaker. So, Honorable Speaker, I'm very diligent when using public resources. But I want to say this, Honorable Speaker. If there is one thing that we need in this country, to equalize, and I want to use this word, to equalize this country, Honorable Speaker, we need good road networks. I want also to state, Honorable Speaker, that there are some regions in this country that have roads that they don't even use. They have roads they don't even use. I was in certain county, Honorable Speaker, and when I passed there, I saw people who were actually airing maize on roads. Tarmac roads, good tarmac roads, which have not been used because resources were skewed towards certain regions, Honorable Speaker. But I'm not lamenting, Honorable Speaker. What I'm saying is that we need to do the same in other areas. To ensure that those areas have roads. Honorable Speaker, I come from a county, one of those counties that for many years, the records of this country will bear me a witness, that the development index and poverty index showed that that county had one of the highest, because it was underserved. Many Kenyans knew a constituency or a sub-county called Ganze. They knew it, not because of great things, but it was in Kenyan papers and Kenya because of poverty levels. If you ask Farah, do you know Ganze? He say yes, that very poor part of Kenya. Why? Because nobody thought of constructing a road there. Today we still seeing that Safari ya Bamba ni Machero, 60 years after. Because nobody invested in the road networks. The people of Ganze, the people of Kilifi, the people of Magarini, the people of Kaloleni, the people of Suba, if they had a good road network, if they had good road networks, the GDP, they would have contributed to the GDP of this country, and this country will be in another level. But because we forgot them, concentrated on certain areas under the sessional paper, 10, Honorable Speaker, we are where we are as a country. Malaysia passed us, Singapore passed us, you know, we still, yes, we are boasting that we are the 6th largest economy in Africa, but we would have been second or first if we had developed this country equally by ensuring that there are roads everywhere in this country without just putting roads in one area, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, the GDP of this country will rise and go very high if we actually put roads in every part of this country, Honorable Speaker. It will be access to markets. It will ensure that there are children, Honorable Speaker, who cannot get a good education because there is no road to go to a good school. We spend so much money paying for fare. A short distance, you pay 1,000 shillings, and yet you would have paid only 200 if there was a good road, Honorable Speaker. So you see how we actually kill. There's a book called Killing the Sun of Africa, Honorable Speaker. That's what we have done in this country to skew development to certain regions. But I want to be happy about what Sam Atande and his team did, the budget committee, to ensure that resources in this budget that we were passing here yesterday on the Committee of Supply, we are now putting money in every part of this country to ensure there's equitable development. Had we done this 20 years ago, Honorable Speaker, the GDP of this country would be very high. We would not be speaking about poverty. We would not be speaking about people being poor. Agriculture would develop faster. Health facilities will develop faster. Education will be at a higher level if we ensure that every part of this country had good road networks, Honorable Speaker. So the motion that the Honorable Faith Gitau is bringing to this House is a very important motion. Actually, it is an economic empowerment motion. we would not be looking for handouts. The people of Kilifi, the fishermen folk in Kilifi, would not be looking for handouts because they would get their catch, take it to the market on good time, avoid post-harvest losses, and Honorable Speaker, and it would be another level, Honorable Speaker. So future government and future budgets, and those that have been given an opportunity to sit in committees like budget, please ensure you distribute resources in this country equitable, including the people in Dabaso. They want a good road. They want to see resources go to those sections. That's why I recommend the broad-based government, Honorable Speaker. We have a situation in this country now where resources can be taken to every part of this country. I thank you and I support and congratulations for the good mind, for the good thoughts, and for the good ideas for this country, Honorable Faith Gitau, and standing up for Kenya and standing up for the marginalized parts of this country. I thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Thank you. The member for Murwa Dikir.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Also allow me to weigh in on this motion, especially a motion that deals with the road network in the country. Mr. Speaker, if you remember historically, after the First and the Second World War, what actually resurrected the economy of Europe and the Americas was the road networks, the infrastructure. They actually put all their monies and their efforts on the building the infrastructure because, Mr. Speaker, infrastructure is a key to any development in any country. Without infrastructure, Mr. Speaker, there is no development. Mr. Speaker, I really wish to support this particular motion and I wish it can be made a reality, Mr. Speaker, because I also hope it is not going to end up in the coffers of this National Assembly, Mr. Speaker. I wish it is going to be made a reality and I wish the Committee on Infrastructure and Roads will have a case study on this particular motion, Mr. Speaker, and especially the contribution made by members who would have contributed in this particular motion. Mr. Speaker, when you look at the situation that we have in the country, especially when you start with the accidents, the reason why we have a lot of accidents in our highways is because the roads are too thin or too narrow. The interchanges between vehicles moving on the other direction, Mr. Speaker, causes a lot of accidents. When you go to Europe and other American countries, you rarely find accidents because all the roads are dualed, regardless of whichever level of that road. All the roads are dualed. Vehicles which are moving on the right side are moving on their own, whichever speed. In fact, in some countries, you find a motor vehicle that is moving at a lower speed on a particular road are fined for moving slowly, Mr. Speaker. The reason is because they cannot cause any accidents. No vehicles are meeting on the road. But in our case, Mr. Speaker, all the roads are single roads. I mean, most of the accidents that happen, Mr. Speaker, is because there is no, most of the vehicles, when they are doing the overtaking, Mr. Speaker, they cause a lot of accidents. Speaker, if we want also to move goods and services faster to other areas, Mr. Speaker, our road networks have to be properly done. And Mr. Speaker, the suggestion by Mheshimiwa, the proponent of this motion, Mr. Speaker, is that why can't we dual all the highways, especially the road from Mombasa to Nairobi, Nairobi to Malaba, we dual roads to Kisumu, we dual roads to Kericho, we dual roads to Northeastern, we dual roads to West Pokot. All those highways that we believe have a lot of traffic, we dual them. And then, Mr. Speaker, if we do not have money because they're very expensive, why don't we toll them? The road from Nairobi here to airport and Mololongo Expressway, Mr. Speaker, people are paying for it. And they arrive at their destination at the best time, at the correct time, without accidents, without any problem. And they pay. Because when you pay 300 shillings, Mr. Speaker, from Nairobi to the airport, there is a difference between when you travel from the normal road to the airport, you will take 3 hours. You will spend around 3,000 for fuel. So, Mr. Speaker, people believe, or people have agreed that if all these roads were tolled and then expanded, Mr. Speaker, people have no problem. So I believe if we have no money to do all the roads, especially from Mombasa to Nairobi and Nairobi to Malaba, we can dual it and we can do PPP and toll it, and people will just prefer to travel 2 hours from Mombasa to Nairobi than 6 hours or the whole day, because the roads and the traffic on those roads cannot allow them to arrive in Nairobi at the correct time. Mr. Speaker, apart from also dualing all these other roads, even in Nairobi itself, the traffic in this town, Mr. Speaker, is on another level. Mr. Speaker, if this country can partner with other countries or even serious investors, Mr. Speaker, we can still do even underground trains in Nairobi and remove all the traffic that we have at the moment. We can also do trams, Mr. Speaker, and be told, and people can pay. Mr. Speaker, I think there are so many things that we can do in this country without necessarily borrowing money, without necessarily overtaxing our citizens, and we can partner and achieve this, have the same, or achieve whatever we wanted to do as if we had actually put our own money. So, Mr. Speaker, I'm in full support of this particular proposal, Mr. Speaker. Let's do all the roads. Let's partner with investors and do all the roads, and then toll the roads. Let's partner with investors and then do underground trains in Nairobi and so many, and Mombasa, and maybe even in Kisumu, and then toll those particular underground trains. Mr. Speaker, let us also have, I remember when I was in PIC with my good friend, Mheshimiwa Aiden, who was a chair, when there was construction of this SGR, Mr. Speaker, we went round from Nairobi to Mombasa, and what shocked us is that the money that we spent on SGR was a lot of money that would have been enough to put a dual rail and then an electric train. Mr. Speaker, what I think is actually taking this country back is the kickbacks that we normally ask while we are doing such big projects. If we had done a proper dual rail from Mombasa to Malaba and electric, we would have eased all the traffic that we have or that we witness today. But we can still do that, Mr. Speaker, without necessarily borrowing, without necessarily taxing Kenyans. We can do through PPP, partner with investors, and then toll. After all, nobody travels on those trains without paying. The payment can be half to the investor and to the country. So, Mr. Speaker, if we take serious attention, if the committee, especially on roads and infrastructure, takes serious attention to this motion, Mr. Speaker, and work on it, we can have a country that has prospered in terms of infrastructure and without burdening the citizens with the issue of taxes. So I thank you, Mr. Speaker, and I support this particular motion. Thank you.
Thank you. Honourable members, I have a list, and all of you are my friends. So as usual, I'll follow the list. Yeah, carrying up your hands will not help in this regard. All of you are my friends, so I'm not going to prefer anybody. I'll follow the list the way it is, so that everyone gets a chance to speak. But before you do that, I wish to recognize students from Kajiado High School, Kajiado Central, Kajiado County. They are welcome to House of Parliament and the full proceeding this morning. Honourable members, also seated in the Speaker's Gallery, I wish to recognize a delegation from the MATIANG'I Foundation, all the way from San Francisco, the USA. Members, I wish to introduce to you a delegation from the MATIANG'I Foundation from San Francisco, USA, who are seated in the Speaker's Gallery. The delegation is led by Mr. Mwangi Mukami, the president of MATIANG'I Foundation. He is accompanied by 19 youth from San Francisco, USA. The delegation is on a visit to Parliament to learn about our legislative process and Assembly as a whole. I welcome them to Parliament and wish them fruitful engagements. Thank you. Next, the list is the Honorable Farah Maalim.
the colonialists who come to our continent and our country to move our resources for their own benefits. They came to take our fellow Africans as slaves in the Western Hemisphere and also in Europe. Many people do not know that Europe was also built with African slaves before even they went into the Americas. They did that for centuries. Then they came to colonize us, they did exactly the same thing. So for us, they had what they called the railway line. The railway line was basically to have a railway all the way from Mombasa to Uganda, which was a part of Africa at that time. Part of Africa at that time. And the idea was just to take those resources, the agricultural and all other resources, and use us also as cheap labor. Mr. Speaker, expectation was that after we fought for our independence and won the independence, that the narrative would change and we'd have development that's geared towards developing. Speaker, can you protect me from Mamboka and Kibageni? They are consulting very loudly. So, and basically, we did exactly the same. We came up within a year of being independent ourselves. From 1964 is when we became a republic, and then 1965 we had the sessional paper number 10, which followed exactly the script of the white settlers and the white colonialists, which then concentrated again development on those areas that were supposed to be high potential areas. Mr. Speaker, that is why, although being in a level above that of in Malaysia, above that of Singapore, South Korea, Hong Kong, at the time of independence, today the economies are probably, each one of them, 50 times, 60 times, 80 times as powerful as our own economies. Because we failed to change the narrative and think global within our own country and begin utilizing our resources from one corner of the country to the other corner. That was also pretty much driven by the divide to rule political culture that was established by the colonialists. For the colonialists to be able to rule our countries in the manner they ruled, without that unified, and also to forestall the possibility of a unified African resistance to their own colonialism, they divided the people. They had tribal lands, trust, whatever. They literally divided our people along ethnicity. The new independent African countries also picked up the same narrative and ran with it and concentrated development within only certain selected areas. And in the process also became the new overlords. I'm talking about the elite, the political elite.
You're in the same class with the Honorable Adan Kenan.
Who?
We're in the same class with him on this history class because...
Who is that? Who?
The Honorable Adan here.
Adan Kenan?
Yes.
No. Adan Kenan.
He was contributing on something on coffee yesterday, and he used the same words you used the last. So I don't know they're in the same class of history.
Adan was in primary school when I was a member of parliament.
Okay, go ahead.
No, he was in the university. He was in the university when I was a member of parliament here. So, let me say that. But of course, everybody knows Adan is an avid debater and has done history also at the university and knows all these things. And I'm glad that we're thinking more or less in the same line. Now, we have a country today. We can't keep on lamenting on the past. If you do a proper road, you see the reason why we have all these accidents is because the elite in here would rather buy a piece of land in the same high potential area where the infrastructure is good than buy in far-flung places like Garissa, Wajir, Mandera, Marsabit, and the rest of it. So there is a congestion. Our psyche as Africans, as Kenyans, after independence also is on either you are going to Mombasa, because that's where the port is, and that's where the beaches are, and that's where, you know, the people who are affluent are putting up what they call resources and investing in land there, or you are going on this one that goes all the way to Uganda, or you are taking this one that goes all the way to Nanyuki. That's why the rest of the country itself is not being developed. And because there are too many of those vehicles and families going, somebody like me, I'll tell you, I mean, you look at these things and look at where is so-and-so's properties. You'll be surprised. There are many people from my area who are putting up farms in here, putting up farms in Rift Valley, putting up what they call properties in Mombasa and in Lamu and all those places, because those are the only areas they can easily access. Then there's a congestion. Then there's going to be, what do you call? The accidents. And then the same artery of moving from Mombasa by trucks, if a truck, 40-foot container cannot reach Entebbe, rather Kampala, in time, it's a problem. But when we open up this country, we put up ICDs, not ICDs on the way now where you put them in Naivasha and the rest of it, inland container depots. But you have an inland container depot in Garissa. You have an inland container depot in Isiolo. You have an inland container depot in Marakwet and all those places. Then the country is going to develop. The way to do that is to have this infrastructure perfectly in sync so that our country, we decongest Nairobi. Everybody has come to Nairobi. People are wondering why governors and rich people from Northeastern Province are not investing in Wajir and Mandera and Garissa. And you could understand, because there are no roads. For this person to go and visit his investments out there, he will take a week to go to Mandera or to go to Wajir, or fly. Because there are no tarmac roads. These tarmac roads are not there. You go to my constituency right now, you will not see 5 meters of tarmac. Emerua Dikir. 5 meters of tarmac you cannot see in the DAP constituency. And there are many constituencies in the north who share the same thing. Children only hear about tarmac and they will look at them in the pictures, but they've never seen it. They have to come to Garissa to see what a tarmac looks like. So this motion must be translated into a serious policy paper. And we're not just talking about what my dear sister said, that class A, B, and C. No, we're talking about all the roads. If there are sufficient roads right now that go to all the corners of Northeastern Province, I can assure you the north is going to become the breadbasket of this country. If we can do the same also in parts of Rift Valley, those places like Pokot and Samburu and Turkana and Rendille and our ethnic Cushitic brothers all the way to Marsabit, to Turbi, to what do you call them, all those deserts. Those places are going to become the center of attraction for tourists. If Nevada can be what it is right now, if you can go to what do you call this place, which is I'm trying to remember this American city where they do a lot of work. Right in the center of the desert. In the center of the desert. It's one of the biggest economies you have in the US. In Nevada, but what was the name? San Diego. San Diego. I don't know whether it's in California or Nevada. So basically what we are saying is that we need to open up the country. Once the country opens up, industries will be put up in those places as an incentive. You incentivize industrialists who are going to come and invest in this country by telling them if you go to far-flung areas, you get a tax haven. You get a tax holiday. And that's the way we are going to decongest Nairobi and all this joblessness. We keep on talking about young men and women who cannot find jobs and who have got degrees. But imagine if the factories are there and industries are there and airports are there and the roads, you could move from one part of the country to the other country in a matter of hours. Then, of course, Speaker, can you allow me to have just 2 minutes? Oh, you don't?
2
minutes.
minutes.
1 minute.
I'll allow you 30 seconds.
Okay, a minute. Okay. No, you. Okay. So, Mr. Speaker, this country needs to open up. I want to commend the government. We had a broad-based government. We had a coalition government sometimes back, and I was the deputy speaker at that time. And we had a prime minister who came from my side of what you call there. But it's only in name, and as far as development is concerned. We did not we did not translate that into serious revenue distribution in the country for purposes of development, so that every part of this country feels that it's part of this country. We're getting now a road all the way, tarmac road, all the way to Mandera. We're getting a tarmac road all the way from Garissa to the border with Somalia in my constituency in a place called Liboye, Dadaab, Liboye, Harhar. When those ones open up...
Is that the one passing through Kotulo?
Eh?
Is that the one through Kotulo?
The one through Kotulo is the one that goes through Wajir, from Isiolo, Wajir, Mandera, all the way and all the way to, all the way to the border there. And then there's another one, which is an international road that goes all the way to Kismayu on the other end. And by the way, with all its imperfections and the fact that it's a failed state, Somalia...
Honorable Farah, there's interest on this, and I would... No. 30 seconds and you wind up totally.
That's, okay. And you see, if you take this to Kismayu, that becomes the great African road. They've already started also doing the road design from Kismayu all the way to the border with Kenya. You will decongest Nairobi. And then it's time we moved the seat of the government from here and have a commercial capital, the way Lagos is the commercial capital, and another seat of the government, the way Abuja is, the way Dodoma is, the way all these things are. So we need those infrastructure. Tanzania has got infrastructure on the four corners of the country. That's why the economy has overtaken us. Mr. Speaker, we need to...
Thank you. Well said. The member for Tinderet.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, I want to thank Member for Nyandarua for giving us, or for bringing this motion to this House. First of all, trunk roads, like all other roads, normally spur development across the country. This country, Honorable Speaker, from Nairobi here, if we can do trunk roads to Mombasa, trunk roads to Western Kenya, trunk roads to the northern, trunk roads to the eastern part, and even to southeastern part to Tanzania, the whole country will actually come up. One of the biggest problems we are having, especially those of us who travel on this road to Nakuru, Eldoret, and even to Busia, is a serious traffic snarl-up. Previously, it used to take about 3 hours to travel all the way to Eldoret. Currently, it is almost 10 hours. Traveling all the way to Kisii, traveling all the way to all these other parts. These are very rich agricultural areas. And Honorable Speaker, the cost of a car getting stuck or having taking a long time on the road has serious ramifications on our economy. First of all, the loss of man hours, the loss of fuel, the effect of that snarl-up on the environment, and generally on the economic development. That goods are going to take several weeks to move between Nairobi and our neighboring countries. A road that's a dual carriageway will actually see to it that goods between Kenya and Uganda move at record speed and therefore spur the economic, the development between the two countries. It will promote industrialization. Kenya, as you all know, is actually the hub of industrial growth in this particular region. That lorries will take 2-3 weeks to move between Nairobi and Kampala, between Mombasa and Nairobi, is actually a serious problem that will actually affect the development in our country. That the building of trunk roads between Mombasa, Nairobi, and Busia is actually a thing which should have been completed about 5 years ago. Reason being that even the coast itself, even the port itself, get congested because of this single-lane road. There are a number of accidents, a lot of property is lost, a lot of lives is lost, and if you quantify the cost of the lack of trunk roads to the economy, it is quite huge, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, I think what we need to do as a House is actually through this particular motion, we come out with very clear policy paper on how to make sure trunk roads are constructed across major towns, major cities in this country. 2, we also need to know that accidents occur as a result of traffic snarl-up, as a result of frustrations, as a result of very narrow roads. Therefore, huge trucks and small vehicles colliding as a result of very tired drivers who have stayed on the road for a long time. And therefore, fatigue actually is one aspect that comes into play because a driver has been on the road for 24 hours, which in normal sense would have taken him 6 or 7 hours. That could have actually solved the problem. So, Honorable Speaker, it is important that we as a House actually come up with a very clear policy. And I think we, as a resolution, not as a policy, as a resolution to the Ministry of Roads and Infrastructure to really give us a way forward on how to develop several dual track roads linking to the northern Kenya to Ethiopia through Moyale and those all the way to Turkana, all the way to southern Sudan, all the way to Uganda, all the way to Tanzania, and all the way to even Somalia. All these roads, Honorable Speaker, will actually change our economy as a country. Several of my colleagues have actually indicated and talked about how trunk roads across the world, the Second World War through the Marshall Plan, the then U.S. Foreign Secretary George Marshall actually transformed Europe just by constructing huge trunk roads across the devastated Second World War states. So similarly, we have in this country very good farmlands, and most of the produce actually do not reach market on time. Avocado, we have coffee, we have sugar, name them, vegetables, and all these cannot reach market on time because our roads are very narrow, very small, and therefore trucks take forever on the roads. So in effect, the cost of not constructing these trunk roads or dual carriageways is more expensive than actually constructing them. So the fact that we are saying we don't have money, it is in one way or another, it is going to affect us because the time when we are going to do all the road all the way to Busia and Kisumu, the fish farmers in Lake Victoria and Turkana will have, most of the market is in Nairobi, Eldoret, and the large cities. The fact that we are not going to construct that, at times you'll find that the cost of fish, some of them reach Kampala earlier than us, and therefore make the cost of fish in Kampala to be lower than ourselves. So what I want to put across, Honorable Speaker, is actually that we take this, make this particular motion, come up with the solutions of the motion, ask the State Department to develop policies on how fast, when, and have timelines and clear programs. If we are going to start with the Nairobi, Mombasa, and Nairobi, Malaba, then let's give timelines and say 2 years, we are through with that. Go to another trunk road or a dual carriageway and say we are going to the northeastern all the way to Wajir. Which time are we going to do that? Which other time are we going to construct one through Kisii all the way to Isabania and all the way to Mwanza? And this one is going to open our country. And I want to ask the Honorable Member, Honorable Gitau, that actually this is the best motion we have this morning, and we need to move, write a clear paper and be able, as a House, through the procedures, that we can transmit to the relevant sectors. Honorable Speaker, in finishing, I just want to also indicate to members that even the roads that we have, and I want to say this because we have 3 state agencies. We have Kena, Kura, and Kera. They really need to make sure that the kind of roads they construct give value to Kenyans. I've been moving around the city of late, and the roads are in bad shape. And if the roads are in bad shape, investors will never come. And it will be a problem even for the tourists and even for all the other people who want to invest, businessmen, those ones who want to establish factories and all the rest. that when they have decided to do a road, it will actually be a road that is going to last not less than 15 years, then you go for repairs. You are certain at times, a road is constructed, 2 years, you see some repairs on the road. It is quite embarrassing, Honorable Speaker, and I think this is the time we need to ask ourselves and be responsible as leaders and as engineers. Also, even the cost of putting up these roads are way above the roof. It is not like in other countries. We are all in this world. It cannot be very different to construct a road in this country, and the same road, the same specification, costs differently in a neighboring state. So we really need to come up and style up on some of the issues. Honorable Speaker, thank you, and I support.
Where did Madam Amuchomba go to? She's gone. The Honorable Kainan.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Honorable members, you will all have a
Mr. Speaker, this is a very important motion. But Mr. Speaker, we need to understand. First of all, let me appreciate.
Just before you proceed, can I just recognize the presence in the public gallery? I'd hoped somebody from the Masai area would give a word of encouragement to the students from OJWANG'S. That never happened. But now we have students. I want to welcome students from Kagondo Secondary School in Daragwa, Nyandarua. Please. And I'm going to ask Madam Faith to put in a word of encouragement to both the students from OJWANG'S, as well as the students from Kagondo Secondary School in Daragwa.
Thank you. Thank you, Honorable Speaker. I want to welcome students from Kagondo Secondary School in Daragwa constituency. I was born in Daragwa constituency, so I know the school very well. And I want to say that they actually do very well academically. And I want to welcome them here. This is where laws are made. And I know some of you will join us very soon. Welcome. Thank you very much.
You're welcome, Honorable Kenan. Now you can start your time.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I appreciate the Honorable Faith Gitao for this great motion. But I also want to say that this motion is a product of Honorable Faith's understanding of the history, the infrastructure, and the dynamics of the Republic of Kenya. Mr. Speaker, I do know our forefathers, the people who fought jealously for the independence of this sovereign state, had one thing in mind: create one mindset, one country called Kenya. Mr. Speaker, over the years, different groups under the leadership, under the privileged leadership of this country, Mr. Speaker, have used their positions to entrench regionalism, to entrench tribalism, to entrench what in the modern day Kenya is called biological nationalism, Mr. Speaker, instead of patriotism and nationalism, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, this idea is very good, but I want to also take you back to the provisions of sessional paper number 10, which you have ably referred to, which will continue to remain in my subconscious, Mr. Speaker, until we see a different mindset, which what we are seeing right now, and I'm glad that the Honorable Deputy Leader of Majority has also alluded to this, the mindset that appreciates Kenya its entirety, the mindset under the broad-based government. Mr. Speaker, this paper, which was used and from 1965 until the promulgation of the current constitution, had three things in mind. Sessional paper number 10 of 1965, titled African Socialism and its Application to Planning in Kenya, was a key government policy outlined in the framework for Kenya's development, with a focus on promoting African socialism and social justice. The aim of the paper was to reduce poverty, ignorance, and disease. Mr. Speaker, sadly, I want to say that paper entrenched poverty, tribalism, Mr. Speaker, poverty, tribalism, and abuse of power in different parts of the Republic of Kenya. This bill coming at a time, Mr. Speaker, under the current constitution, having appreciated my good friend, when you bring a bill, I will be amending the bill to read expansion of all major roads. Expansion of all roads, not all major roads. Not all major roads. Some of us don't have major roads. We are struggling to have major roads. We are struggling to have a road.
Minor roads.
We are struggling even to have a minor road. We are struggling to have something that befits the definition of a road. So in your creative mind, and I like that, you have alluded to the great tarmac roads in central Kenya, the great tarmac roads in parts of Kenya. And I really appreciate you. But when you will be doing the real bill, please expand your horizon of thinking to my village, to the person in Moyale, to the person in Turkana, to the person in Lamu, to the person in West Pokot, to the person in Garissa. And that is what will bring together the people of this sovereign republic called Kenya, and will help them appreciate the classification of roads from A, B, C. I don't have roads to be classified. We are still struggling. And I want to remind you one great thing Mzee Kibaki did. When he was the minister, Mr. Speaker, when he was the Minister for Finance in 1974, there was an MOU, a bilateral agreement between the government of Kenya and the government of Ethiopia to tarmac the road all the way from Addis Ababa, Moyale, Marsabit, Isiolo, all the way. The government of Ethiopia did theirs within the shortest time possible. It took the government of Kenya until 2003, when Mzee Kibaki became the president, to remember that MOU. And gladly, he instructed the then Minister for Roads to forfeit all the bureaucratic bottlenecks and implement that decision. And today, you can see that good road that links us all the way to Ethiopia. The benefits: accessibility, efficient road, reduction of road accident carnages, and literally trade boost. Remember, Ethiopia is the sleeping giant of Africa. The population, over 150 million people. Can you imagine that market? Today, there's something called the Safaricom effect. The Safaricom effect in Ethiopia. And it's going to be one of our diplomatic engagements in Africa. That was a closed zone. Right now, every Kenyans are in every village, courtesy of our communication, infrastructural development. These are things that we need to inculcate. For the people of Northern Kenya, Mr. Speaker, these classes only exist. You remember when you were in school, and when I was in school, we used to be asked, what is a tarmac road? A tarmac road is a black substance found in down Kenya. That down Kenya is where you come from. I want to inculcate this and psych those students and make them believe that down Kenya is in the village in Ramo, in the village in Asabito, in the village in Dadaab, in the village in Wajir. That is the mindset, the Kenya mindset that we want to create. So I'll be moving an amendment, and I'm sure you can also do. But I also want to join you and appreciate what is being done right now. For the first time, the road from Isiolo to Modogash is being tarmacked. We are seeing signs of acceptability. We are seeing signs of linkage to the national road network. And these are things that will help people assume and accept that you are part and parcel of the sovereign Republic of Kenya. Mr. Speaker, I do not want to overemphasize. The bill also says from two-way lanes to dual carriage. I don't have even a one-lane road. When will I move? So my first attempt will be to move from the camel tracks to two-way lanes to reach where you want us to go. And that is the level where every Kenyan will have an opportunity to test the benefits of independence. Mr. Speaker, but this is a good attempt. Mr. Speaker, we are also talking about foot bridges. Foot bridges, we are also talking about safe crossing zones. These are Greeks in my mind. By the time we reach there, I can tell you, we'll really appreciate, and that's what he was also alluding to. So right now, and the reason why some of us who have been in parliament opted for the separation of institutional role, to have Kera, Kura, and Kena, is just to make sure we take these policy decisions to the villages. And when some individuals who are satisfied with what they have got attempt to say they will scrap Kera, CDF is part of our independence achievement. They shall not be touched until we reach where other regions have reached. And that is not a policy in vain. It is not a legislative framework in vain. And I want to alert those who think that they can scrap Kera, they can scrap NCDF. We will not allow you. You can do whatever you want. You can apply all the shenanigans at your disposal. You can use every legal. We will continue to use those two organizations to take development to our people, Mr. Speaker. And the same applies to REA, Mr. Speaker. You know REA, the rural electrification. For the first, the REREC. We are seeing same plans. We are not connected to the national grid, but we are seeing at least some light at the end of the tunnel. Mr. Speaker, so therefore, those are the things, and I'm glad that you have brought this so that in the bill you include all these that will encompass the face of the sovereign Republic of Kenya. Mr. Speaker, I do not want to look at the social benefits of having a modern. The road, and I'm glad that the Honorable Ngeno has mentioned this, we have been struggling to improve the road from Mombasa to Nairobi all the way from Malapa, Kampala. Mr. Speaker, once upon a time, this country was the pride of the region in infrastructure development, and we used to call ourselves the regional infrastructure hub. We have been overtaken. You only need to go and visit Kampala. We have more resources. We have more technical people. But because they have used their resources efficiently and properly, with minimal wastages. These are things that we need to accept. Otherwise, we'll continue to complain. We'll continue to lose our stature. Our roads will be the epicenter of road carnages. Mr. Speaker, 2 more minutes, if you allow me. Mr. Speaker, so the essence of having a modern day, efficient road transport is to bring about political equity, to bring about social justice, to bring about human dignity, and to bring about equal opportunity, Mr. Speaker. I want the community that I represent, Mr. Speaker, are some of the most fervent, some of the most determined business people in this country. You only need to show them an opportunity, and they will excel. If only the road all the way from this to Mandera was tarmacked, I can assure you that will be the modern day business hub and will demand Wajir, Mandera, Garissa, Isiolo, Marsabit, Tana River to be classified as one of the commercial cities of the Republic of Kenya. And because of that is where we're headed, these roads must be tarmacked. And finally, Mr. Speaker, there's nowhere in the world where resources are enough. We must prioritize. Countries like Saudi Arabia have developed because every 5 years they have, this 5 years is for education, this 5 years is for road, this 5 years is for energy, until every part of the Republic is developed. I thank you. Good bill, good attempt. Expand your horizon of thinking. We'll do more consultations. It's a first step, and by the time you bring the bill, I can assure you this will be the most progressive, the most productive bill that will once and for all help us sort out our road issues. I thank you, and I support the motion.
Thank you, Mr.
Speaker.
Speaker.
Followed by my brother Wamboka Kwanza. Order.
Thank you.
Kibagendi. Order. Kibagendi, my good old friend, don't invite the wrath of the chair. Okay, proceed. It's not a privilege. It's not a right. It's a privilege to catch the speaker's eye. And there are a lot of things that the chair looks at. Proceed.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. And I rise to support this wonderful motion from the gracious lady and my colleague, former women rep for Nyandarua and the current women rep for Nyandarua, Madam Faith. And I thought that when she thought about coming about this motion, Mr. Speaker, it's like she read the needs of and the urgent needs of my constituency, Githunguri, and the entire county where I come from, Kiambu County. Mr. Speaker, you know, Kiambu County and Githunguri in particular, we are slowly becoming the dormitory of Nairobi. Every other worker in Nairobi is finding a place to buy and build a good home in Kiambu County. And therefore, we are getting a lot of people moving into our county, and we are still using those traditional narrow roads. Mr. Speaker, I don't know whether you have ever visited my constituency and my county, Kiambu, but I know you are familiar with Kiambu Road.
I'm one of those
And
people
it is a mouthpiece, and I'm glad that you're confessing that, Mr. Speaker, you are also a habitat of Kiambu County when you're not in your constituency. And truly speaking, I think we need to move from the traditional way of...
Honorable Kainan, Honorable Wamboka, Kibagendi.
I hope you're going to compensate me for those missed gaps.
Proceed.
Mr. Speaker, I was saying that I appreciate that you also confirm that you sometimes live in Kiambu when you're not in your constituency. And Kiambu Road has become an economic time waster for most of the people who are living and working in Nairobi. Kiambu County, and especially Kiambu Road, has become so congested that the police have to stand and stop the flow of the cars from in tray of Kiambu and out tray of Kiambu. In fact, without the police, Kiambu Road is not functional. And I'm sure you know, Mr. Speaker, that we have really tried even to cut the trees by the roadside to enlarge the road or to make the road wide. So this motion has come in handy because I rise to support it 100%. It's time for us to review our traditional roads, and we appreciate that there are attempts to do roads. There are attempts to make new roads. But even the existing roads, surely we need to stop the time wastage, the time we waste on those roads when we are pushing against each other, when we are fighting. There is a lot of road rage emanating from the pressure of the congestions in our roads. But Mr. Speaker, even as we discuss about expansion of major roads in the country, I support my colleague who has just submitted that we are not only going to support expansion of major, because their constituencies are still struggling with even the small roads. So it's not going to be major. And I will support that amendment, Madam Faith. If you bring that bill, I will support by putting an amendment. It is not major roads, but all roads. Because there is no road that is made to nowhere. Roads are made to serve the populations of the people who live in those areas. Mr. Speaker, it's not just about expansion. It's about even the quality of the roads we are making. Mr. Speaker, we come here and celebrate when we see budgetary allocation to certain roads. Like, for example, I am appreciative that the national government is now putting some little money to finish the stalled road, Githunguri Uprant Roiro Road, which has been stalled for the last 11 years. Mr. Speaker, it's not about expansion of the road. It is also the quality of the roads that we are making. How sure are we that the kind of works we are doing are also sustainable enough and serving the communities that are supposed to be served? In that respect, Mr. Speaker, allow me to quote one road that really has become a menace. We have a road that connects Githunguri constituency to Lari constituency all the way to Nyandarua constituency, where Madam Faith comes from. It is called Moi Road. Mr. Speaker, that road was made using money, funds that were coming from the World Bank. It is barely 6 years, and the road is completely eroded. It was a tarmac road that was done using donor funds, because World Bank is not our money. And imagine 6 years are not even over, the road is completely eroded. So what kind of works are we talking about? There is one thing to do the road, but there is also another question on what is the quality of the roads that we are doing. Mr. Speaker, as we continue talking about our roads, I have an idea which I would want to float to Madam Faith as she comes up with her bill to consider. I think it is high time for us to create a special disaster road levy. Because so many people have been injured, maimed, and killed on our roads. And we leave them in the hospitals without bailing them out. We don't have a special kitty for that. I think we need to create a special kitty where we save some little money that we collect from our roads and we keep it as a disaster fund. When we have a disaster road carnage incident, like we have had in the Rift Valley, we have had serious incidences where families are now called to do fundraisers and politicians are called to go and fundraise. we create a kitty where we can justify that this is a serious disaster emanating from accidents from our roads, and we create a disaster fund where we can always support families that are damaged economically and their livelihoods are completely interfered with by issues emanating from road carnage. As I submit, I want to support this motion and say that it is time for us to also make sure that we just don't deal with major roads, but we deal with all roads, and also make sure that Kenya is equated. Not every other place has tarmacs, but we need to also consider those constituencies that don't have a single kilometer of tarmacs are also taken care of. I am from the mountain region. I am from central Kenya, and I hear a lot of comments, people saying, oh, you know, when you're speaking about roads, people from the mountain should not be talking about the roads. And I support you. You also pay taxes. People of Turkana pay taxes. People of Northeastern pay taxes. And therefore, they also need to be supported in the campaign. When you do 1 kilometer in Nairobi, also make sure you do 1 kilometer in Northeastern. Also make sure you do 1 kilometer in the coastal region. This issue of lumping resources in one region, Mr. Speaker, is the one that is bringing the issue of tribalism and introducing the politics of tokenism. So we must be clear in this house. Are we going to continue like this? Because a certain region has many votes, you want to lump all the kilometers in that area because you want votes. Remember, even those areas that have no kilometers of road, they have honey, they have goat meat, they have minerals, and they have even people given to us by God. Yeah. And we cannot be doing budgets here and all we say is remove 1 kilometer of road from Roiro and put it to Nakuru. Remove 1 kilometer from Nakuru, put it in Molo. I am from that region, but I am saying it is time we called a spade a spade. Let us equate all regions of Kenya. Make sure we compensate the areas where there is no kilometers of tarmac, because we are all looking forward to a Kenya where we are cousins, and we are brothers, and we are sisters, and we are in-laws. How do you bring back the spirit of in-laws if the in-law from one side has tarmac and the in-law from the other side has no tarmac? So I am insisting, any debate in this house where we have to discuss tarmacking, let us discuss tarmacking the whole of Kenya in totality. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
The Honorable MP for Kwanza.
Honorable Speaker.
Who did I give first? Oh, okay.
Yes.
Thank
you. Thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Followed by Kwanza, yes.
Yes.
And then followed by, okay. Proceed, Wamboka.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker, for this opportunity. And I want to thank Honorable Faith for this very important motion. And I want to encourage her that she must proceed and put this into a bill, because it is so important, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, I'm coming from a meeting with the Minister for Roads. For the first time, I want to commend the government, the appointing authority, that they got it right in the appointment of the Honorable Chirchir as Minister for Roads. Somehow, we can see some light at the end of the tunnel. That man understands Kenya, and that man knows what he's doing. So I start by congratulating the Minister for Roads. He's doing a good job. Two, Honorable Speaker, I want the Honorable Faith to widen her scope in her definition of roads. There are very many constituencies in this country that do not have a single road. So therefore, we should talk about roads, Honorable Speaker. And in our meeting with the minister, he talked about affirmative action. The issue Honorable Mushomba has been alluding to. Honorable Speaker, since independence of this country, resources have been skewed to certain areas. Honorable Speaker, and as we start even doing the affirmative action, Honorable Speaker, the people handling the budget are at crossroads, because there were so many projects initiated in one region of this country. To be specific, to call a spade, Central Kenya. Many projects, road projects were initiated. So in as much as you say, we want to commit funds on completion of stalled projects, you realize that 50% of this budget is going to one region. That is wrong. Kenya is for everyone. Everyone pays taxes, Honorable Speaker. So we must start there. And I want to encourage the Minister for Roads on the issue of the affirmative action. Let the Samburu child feel that they belong to Kenya. Let the Turkana child feel, Honorable Speaker, that they belong to Kenya. In my other life, I worked for the Ministry of Asals, Honorable Speaker, and I have moved around the Asal areas of this country. I've been to Honorable Kainan's place, and I can tell you, if you land from above from a chopper, you'd think you are in Trans Nzoia. His place is green because of irrigation. So the only thing they lack is exposure. Now, after Honorable Kainan harvests, where does he take his things? If from Wajir to Nairobi, it's going to take 3 days, Honorable Speaker. We must open up this country, and we must open up this country for all of us. Honorable Speaker, we want to put our eyes and focus on the Ministry of Roads. We have... Who
is on a point of order? You're on a point of order? Yes. It had better be a point of order. Okay, proceed. What's not in order?
Mr. Speaker, I'm perturbed that the MP is insinuating that 50% of the budget has gone to Central Kenya without giving figures. I think that is misleading, Mr. Speaker.
Do you have the figures?
Honorable Speaker, ignore him because everyone knows it's a fact. We have something called Mau Mau Roads that now is consuming, then 49% to be specific, 49.651 of this year's budget is going to Central Kenya. Yeah, you must stop being selfish.
Point of order?
Honorable Speaker, we must put our eyes now on the Ministry of Roads. One, the minister agrees that he has a problem and a challenge in the ministry because those guys, one, they inflate the figures. He was giving as an example of this, the foot bridges that they are supposed to do. They got some donors to support. But when he asked for the figures for these foot bridges, they are inflated to almost 4 times. Honorable Speaker, we have a problem with the Ministry of Roads. It is actually rotten. It is letting us down. A road is built and hardly after 1 month, even before that road is commissioned, it has potholes. How? How were these people cleared, given certificates of completion, Honorable Speaker? We must, as a House, be deliberate about this, and I call upon the chairman for transport to now go and dig deeper, now that the minister himself is acknowledging that there is a lot of corruption in the Ministry of Roads, and we must deal with that, Honorable Speaker. As we talk about these trunk roads, main roads, Honorable Speaker, we must be deliberate as a leadership, as a parliament. There are some roads that decongest these major roads. I come closer to the border, Honorable Speaker, we are so much disadvantaged about the trucks. At times they line up to Eldoret. So if we also focus on the interconnecting roads, inter-county roads, Honorable Speaker, and in mind I have a road like Mungatsi, Mianga, Kimaeti, Malakisi. If we concentrate on such roads, we are going to decongest our major roads, which is going to help us, Honorable Speaker. But as even we speak about roads, Honorable Speaker, we must also focus on the railway, because the railway will decongest our roads, Honorable Speaker. We must be deliberate and we must depoliticize the allocation. we must depoliticize the routing of these railways, Honorable Speaker. The Mzungus came in Kenya, for example, and they put a ruler from Mombasa to Malaba. And they said for economic benefit, if we had a railway from Mombasa to Nairobi, to Eldoret, to Bungoma, and to Malaba, it is economically viable. But because of politics and political pressure, now the standard gauge railway that is coming up at Mau Summit has now to turn and go to Kericho, and go to Kisumu, and go. I have no problem with that, Honorable Speaker. But let's also look at the viability and prioritize what is going to add economic value to us, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, good roads reduce accidents. If we have dual roads in this country, we will have fewer accidents. You look at Thika Road, for example, it is a dual road. And practically, the number of accidents on Thika Road are less and fewer. Honorable Member, Honorable Speaker, protect me from a heckling member. This is our honorable house. Honorable Speaker, there are less accidents on dual Thika Road than there are on our Nairobi Eldoret Malaba Road. That road has become a massacre of human lives, Honorable Speaker. And that is why we support this and that's why we support, Honorable Speaker, that if we deal with this issue, then we are going to save lives. Honorable Speaker, a lot of our rural people also die on their way to hospitals because the roads are not good. It takes too long, Honorable Speaker, for them to reach the hospitals. And that is why we support Madam Faith. Expand your scope, Madam Faith. This speaks also to the image of our country. When tourists come and they use good roads, Honorable Speaker, we are advantaged. I flew on Kenya Airways and the captain was telling me, we have a pothole, for instance, in JKA. As the pilots come in, they are advised from the radar that on your left, where there is a pothole. That dents the image of this country. So, Honorable Faith, kudos. We support you. Bring this bill yesterday so that we can bring sanity in the infrastructural sector of this country. Thank you, Honorable Speaker, and thank you.
Honorable members, before we have the next speaker, I want to take this moment also to welcome students from Midland International School in Mavoko, Machakos County. And I'll ask the Honorable Muhammad Ado to give a word of noting that largely this is
Thank you.
Honorable Muhammad Ado, could you proceed now and give a word of encouragement to the students?
Honorable Speaker, I would
No, proceed, just a word of encouragement.
Mr. Speaker, sir, I would like to take this opportunity to welcome the students with us today from Machakos, as well as those who've been here earlier. I would like to welcome them to this August House and also ask them to continue on with their hard work at school and feel welcomed. And what you see here are all in the interests of the Kenyan public who've elected all the members in this house. Take upon yourselves to take this example of leadership as you continue with your studies and into your future. Please feel welcome. Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker.
Members, if you can all take maximum of 3 minutes or 5 minutes, then it will give an opportunity for many members to contribute. Proceed, Honorable MP for Kwanza. Order, Honorable Mamadou. Honorable Kwanza was before you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker, for giving me this opportunity. And I want to take this opportunity also to thank Honorable Faith Itua for coming up with this very important motion. And I want just from the onset to say that I think she read my mind, because yesterday somebody was talking about dual carriageway. And I think it's important that we take it very seriously as a House. Mr. Speaker, it's with the sad news that 2 weeks ago, 1.5 weeks ago, my students were going to Turkana for some feasibility studies from my constituency. And Mr. Speaker, it was very, very unfortunate that because the road is very narrow and it's supposed to be a dual carriageway, they had a very serious accident. As I'm talking to you like this, Mr. Speaker, it's with the sad news that 5 of the students are actually in ICU, including the principal of a school. And therefore, it's important that actually we take this very seriously. Having taken a trip on business trips outside the country, you go to China, for example. In China, you'll find there are 2 or 3 floors of the dual carriageway. And there's no congestion at all. And given the population of China, and compared with the Kenya, you will not be surprised. It's so clear, it's so sweet. You see, there are no people on the streets, and you find that actually delivery of services and goods to various destinations is very good, because we are doing this not because of the people for beauty purposes. Mr. Speaker, it's important because, as you mentioned, as somebody has mentioned, with dual carriageway, the communication between the producer and, of course, the consumer takes a very short time, and you find those services are properly done. And, of course, we also improve on the employment. We also improve on the finances of these particular services. So it's important that actually we take this very seriously. And I think you and I have heard His Excellency the President about 2 weeks ago or 3 was talking about dual carriageway, because he's equally actually affected, and he has seen this, and there are so many bills to His Excellency the President that the Northern Corridor, which is from Nairobi all the way to the border of Kenya and the countries in the north. One is Southern Sudan, of course, one of them, Rwanda, Burundi, DRC, Uganda, and of course, parts of north of Tanzania. They get those services from here. And you find that, the Speaker, it takes such a long time. In fact, to the extent that instead of taking 1 day to the border of Kenya and Uganda, and from there go to other places, it's taking more than 3 days on the road. That means most of the trucks actually are taking such a long time. Like this particular truck that killed almost 45 students. It was so because he was in a hurry, and the 2 other trucks were ahead of him. And what happened? He was overtaking. And with the grace of God, the driver decided to fall the bus on the right-hand side. That's how he saved. And I can say, I think I also went last weekend to say Paula to the families and even the school and the students. And the truck is completely, the bus is completely damaged. So we find this particular faith. I want to agree with you. Okay. Bring this motion, make it a bill, so can be able to see if you can be able to pass it on and look for, because there are many people, for example, the Chinese are willing to come and work with us for the future, prosperity of the future, to have this dual carriageway. Okay. And therefore, it's important that we do something about this. Other than other small roads here and there, of course, we have problems. The population of this country is growing every day. Recently, I went again on business, not on tourist, but a business. I went to Singapore, and I saw there's a lot of, cleanness, and you see trucks moving so fast. to the destination or what have you. So it's important that actually we do something about this, and therefore I want to take this opportunity to ask Honorable Gitau to come up with this as a bill so I can pass it. And His Excellency the President is also willing, from what he said about 2 weeks ago, to have this two-way carriageway expanded. Okay. With those few remarks, because my colleagues want to talk as well.
Yeah, that's
I
good enough.
this.
You are good. The Honorable Woman Rep for Turkana, followed by Kibagendi, and then Mr. Ado. And then I'll come to the rest of you also, yes.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, for giving me this chance. To begin with, I would like to thank my colleague, Honorable Faith, for bringing this important motion to this House.
If you take just a few minutes, it gives them. Yeah. And you could say everything you want to say in 5 minutes, I'm sure.
Mr. Speaker, the discussion is about roads. And good roads means good to any serious economy, Mr. Speaker. Our roads in Kenya are either poor or not there, or inequitably distributed. Benefits of good roads, Mr. Speaker, are as follows. Reduced accidents, because when the roads are expanded, when they are dulled, there is safety. Then secondly, there is safety of time. We will save time when we have good roads. Mr. Speaker, security. I think you come from Northeastern, and security is an issue to Northeastern and the northern part of Kenya. When we have good roads, this will address our security issues, Mr. Speaker. Most of our security roads are not motorable, and this bill will be good riddance to the people who stay in these areas, Mr. Speaker. Good roads will uplift our economy, Mr. Speaker, and good roads will connect Kenya to the rest of the world. Mr. Speaker, where I come from, Turkana, I've always said Turkana is a special county to this country, Mr. Speaker. If there were good roads connecting Kenya to South Sudan through Turkana, if there were good roads connecting Kenya to Ethiopia through Turkana, if there were good roads connecting Kenya to Uganda through Turkana, Mr. Speaker, our economy will be something else. Mr. Speaker, due to marginalization, Honorable Owen said that some areas have roads and they are using it to dry maize and other farm products. Mr. Speaker, a place like Turkana, there are many constituencies in Turkana that have zero tarmac, Mr. Speaker. And we are in a free Kenya where we attained freedom. So some parts of this country are still colonized, under colony, Mr. Speaker. We are still colonized by our own government. Mr. Speaker, Turkana has a lake, the biggest desert lake in the world. We produce good fish, Mr. Speaker, but we cannot access market due to poor road networks. Our people do a lot of fishing. They even risk their lives because, now Lake Turkana has become a death trap. Our people are killed in that corridor of Ethiopia, and this other side, even the game reservists kill our people when they are fishing in that lake. They risk their life fishing, but they cannot access market at the end of the day. They just bring their fish, it trots on the road because there are no good roads, Mr. Speaker. So the only best means of transport in Turkana is border. Even a woman who is giving birth is ferried to hospital using border because there is no road. And of course, because there are no roads, so there is no transport means like cars, ambulances are not there. The ambulances we have are very few and they can access very minimal areas of Turkana, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, Turkana has a lot of potential, I can repeat. The A1 road now that has been made from connecting Kenya to Turkana has done a lot. For instance, security in that Kainuk corridor has improved because of the A1 road. So what will it mean if we have good roads, Mr. Speaker, in good places, most of the places in Turkana? Mr. Speaker, this corridor, transport corridor of transporting things to southern Sudan using Ugandan route, it is very long, Mr. Speaker. The shortest route would have been Lodwar, Lokchogyo, then to southern Sudan. Very short. But our people have to transport goods through Gulu in Uganda, very long distance, and they use a lot of time, Mr. Speaker. Why can't we do a transport corridor road now that the A1 is made up to Lokchogyo? Then proceed up to the border, then we will be doing good business with our neighbors, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, the other aspect I wanted to mention about the roads. In Turkana, because the airstrips and airports fall under transport as well, because we are talking about the same tarmac thing, there is an honorable member who was talking about a pothole in JKH. Mr. Speaker, Lodwar airstrip is the most dangerous airstrip in Kenya, if not in the world. Mr. Speaker, when we fly to Lodwar, we are risking our lives every day. Air transport from Nairobi to Mombasa is cheaper than transport from Nairobi to Lodwar. Yet, it is the same distance, Mr. Speaker. When you try to inquire, they tell you the reason is our airstrip has a lot of potholes and it has a very short runway. So the wear and tear involved is very high. So we are made to pay a lot of transport as compared to those who travel to Mombasa, Mr. Speaker. So good transport network, good transport infrastructure will improve our lives, but by cutting costs of the money we pay for transport, Mr. Speaker. By this, I want to say I support this motion. It will be an eye-opener for the rest of us in the northern Kenya. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Kibagendi.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker, for giving me this opportunity to also contribute to this motion. The concern and the condition and management of Kenyan roads has been a major subject of concern. And this has happened with successive governments that we've had. And one of the major reasons because we have these challenges is mainly in the corruption in how road construction contracts are given and the design of these particular roads, which has the poorly managed roads and of course the narrow roads that we have in our country make Kenyans spend a lot of hours on the roads, which the hours they would have used to contribute to economic development of our country. And the major roads that we have in this country, particularly where I come from, because successive governments have been skewing development, you find that a major road, like the road from Limuru to Maimahiu, leading all the way to Narok and those sides, since independence, we have had the single lane that we have there, which has caused a lot of trouble to our people when they are traveling to and from the region. And number two, even the trucks that ferry goods and services to different parts of the southern part of this country, or Nyanza, get trapped in traffic, especially the escarpment leading to Maimahiu and all the way to Narok. The other road that is very, very unfairly treated in this country is the road between Sotik and Kisii town. And this is a region that you know is a breadbasket of this country. And because of, again, skewed and corrupt people in especially the Ministry of Roads, this road, while we have been making noise about this road, it has never been given attention. And even the current government, I heard you speak that the broad-based government has done this and that. I feel they are equally skewing development to areas they are hoping to get votes from, instead of being practical in the way they allocate resources for development of roads in this country. And to effectively deal with the issues around our roads, we must first look at the design of our roads. The design of our roads whereby we need to have truck stops. We shouldn't have trucks stopping at whatever stage they wish to stop. We need to have truck stops. We need to have sleep alerts on our roads so that we have what we call discipline and safety of both the drivers and other road users. you need to realize that poor road networks not only affects the economic development of areas, it also leads to tear and wear of vehicles, of even private vehicles. And that is why we call upon this government and the governments that will come to prioritize roads that will effectively improve services across the country. Honorable Speaker, in my constituency, since independence, you realize that we have a road that cuts across Kitutu Chache South. However, the urban design of Kisii town has affected the expansion of the road between Kisii and the junction leading to Migori and to Oyugis all the way to Kisii. We also need to look at that, how urban areas are designed so that we can have roads going outside the cities or outside the towns so that we can have effective management of traffic. In my constituency, since independence, we never had a tarmac other than the main highways. It is in my time as a member of parliament of Kitutu Chache South that we have managed to push and have a tarmac for Kitutu Chache South between a place called Igonga to Raganga, Mosocho, and then we have another one from Nyabururu. It is a loop going round to Nyamataro, and we have another one that is ongoing right now between Nyakoe going all the way to Marani, for which I want to attribute the efforts of our former members of parliament, Honorable Jimmy Angwenyi and Honorable Nyonka, who pushed for these particular roads. But we shouldn't get to a point where members of parliament are the ones that push for developments for their area. The people in the ministry should be able to see areas that are congested, areas that need urgent action for them to ensure that this is done. I appreciate the efforts of my sister, Honorable Member Faith Gitau, for coming up with this motion. We ask you to continue working on it. We will contribute so that we ensure, while we look at the major roads, we also want to look at all the roads across the country and also ensure equitable distribution of these opportunities to the rest of our republic. Thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Yeah, the Honorable Ado is next. And then we'll have another round. I'll just mention the round. Let me hear.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. I would like to take this opportunity to thank Honorable Faith Gitau for bringing this immensely important motion to the floor of the House. We're talking about expansion of major roads into dual carriageways. We're talking about the establishment of footbridges and established pedestrian crossings to enhance safety. But Mr. Speaker, we live in a country where one part of the country is talking about or has dizzying road networks, while another part of the country or other parts of the country have no roads. And Mr. Speaker, for the record, because this is a house of record, when I say no roads, I mean no roads. You yourself, in contribution to this motion, aptly described how there is not even 5 meters of tarmac in your constituency. Yeah. The same is true for most of the constituencies in northern Kenya. And it pains me that every time in this house, a matter of progress, a matter of development is raised, an issue to do with enhancement of crop production is mentioned on the floor of the House, mentioned fertilizer, the development of tea, progress for coffee, sugarcane. We are all up as the members from northern Kenya talking about how livestock is ignored in the budgeting process of this country, to the extent that the newly established marketing board has just been given a paltry 50 million, something that's not even enough for the running of the offices. And in that spirit, I would like to say that there needs to be affirmative action when it comes to the development of infrastructure in this country. We are currently using not roads, but cattle and camel trucks, where a 100-kilometer ride is such a rib-jarring experience that you need at least a week to recover from. These are the same trucks that are being used by our pregnant mothers when they need further medication or specialized medication, or when they need to be taken to hospitals, properly equipped hospitals. These are the roads that our business people are using to get whatever they are selling, be it livestock or food crops, to the markets. And it's not fair. It's not fair that more than 60 years after independence, we are talking about having no roads at all. And, Mr. Speaker, there is a glimmer of hope in Northeastern right now, where segments of the Isiolo, Wajir, Mandera Road are under construction. Workers are on the ground, contractors with their heavy machines are busy working on those segments. But there are bottlenecks. For example, the bit between Modogashe and Samatar in my constituency, which was earlier on designated to be an annuity project, is still not having any hope that the contractor will be on the ground very soon, because the process of changing that part from annuity to the provision of the funds has taken so long. The bit from Samatar, again in my constituency, to Wajir town, there are a consortium of Arab banks that was supposed to construct that part, and there is doubt as to whether the banks are actually ready to do that bit. It was supposed to start this month. We are not seeing any action on the ground. The bit between Ramu and Mandera town, again, is an annuity project. And we are calling on the government, we're calling on the Kenya National Highways Authority and the Ministry of Roads to kindly ensure that those bottlenecks are removed, because we have this Lorian swamp passing in between Modogashe and Habaswein. And if that part of the road is not constructed, then we will not have a road leading anywhere in Northeastern, because every time it rains, that part becomes a whole lake. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I believe it's time we co-owned this space called Kenya and treated all Kenyans fairly and developed the country at the same pace. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Honorable Ado, for using your time very prudently. And I will have now a list of another 4, and hopefully each one of you will take about 3 minutes. That way you can all. Starting with Honorable Omanya, followed by Sane, Khalif, Karoli, and then MP for Mandera North. Oh, fair enough. Then you come. I didn't see your name in there.
Thank you.
Iko Japheth. Oh yeah, okay, then Japheth, yes, okay. Please take as few minutes as possible so that all your colleagues can also have a moment to weigh in. Thank you. Go to the next one. Go to the next one. Omenya, go to the next one.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. This is long overdue, and the Honorable Member, Honorable Gitau, has always thought beyond boundaries for Kenyans. She's my role model. Many roads in Kenya were constructed for, the way our grandfathers or colonialists thought, to the destinations, yes, but roads should be made for journeys. We should not suffocate congesting cities, and yet we can think in a broad way, not narrowly, to see how else can somebody not use the same route their grandfathers used. It's the same route they are using today. We are harming Kenya because there's no way we will attract investors in areas that were never even discovered by Google Map. Mr. Speaker, I want her to also edit and add that every county must have at least an airstrip. I stay in Busia, a neighboring town to Uganda. But if I want to go to Kampala, that person in Nairobi will reach Kampala ahead of me, who stays just next to Uganda. I will have to come from Busia, go to Kisumu, then from Kisumu, come back to Jomo Kenyatta to now get a plane to Uganda. We have to stop thinking narrowly. Mr. Speaker, we need to also do something about improving livelihood. If we have more inroads that are tarmacked, not these roads that they just come and patch when the rains come or bad weather happens, then they are removed by the floods. I mean roads that will be clinically constructed beyond towns into remote areas. That is how developed nations thought and started those days. If Kenya, we started today having every town, it doesn't matter if it is Turkana, Garissa, places that I've had my other colleagues mention that they hardly see any tarmac road. If we started today as Kenya, having every town adding at least one per year, one road tarmacked per year, in 10 years, a town that was neglected, not attracting investors, will now be the talk of the day. People, even us, the indigenous, will be attracted to that town because the infrastructure is up to date. Mr. Speaker, when we talk of growing our economy, infrastructure cannot be ignored. It has to be among the factors that improves any village, that brings new money to the community, because the domestic investors and international investors are attracted with these well-done roads. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
I'd given the next one to Sanay, did I say, or Khalif? Oh, Sanay, quickly, Sanay. If you take as few minutes as possible, you will. Eh? Thank you. Behind, go behind.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. In all intent, the motion by Honorable Faith Gitau looks good. But for those who really have roads, Mr. Speaker, some part of Kenya, they are talking of optimal operations. Optimal. We don't have the basics in northern Kenya. Mr. Speaker, people are talking of expansion. I don't have a road. People are talking of two-way lanes. I don't have a mono or one-way lane. Lack of footbridges. I don't need footbridges from where I come from. I need a road, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, we don't even care about safe roads. We need a motorable road from where I come from. Mr. Speaker, provision of drainage in roads. I don't need this. I need a road. Mr. Speaker, is Kenya one Kenya really? Are we independent from where I come from, Northern Frontier District, Northeastern Kenya? Are we really having a country? The only semblance of having a country is a flag hovering around us during school days or during holidays. A flag should be a national embrace, a mark of patriotism, unity, love from where I come from. People always talk of one road, Isiolo Mandera Road. Is that the only road in Northern Kenya? And for how long shall we talk of where are these other roads? Where is the road from Garissa to Liboy? Where is the road from Moyale to Wajir? Where is the road from Moyale to Mandera? We have so many Kenya roads. In as much as this is good for the first-class Kenyans, this is for first-class Kenyans. I, a second-class citizen, a third for that matter, I need the basics. If you look at the budget, Mr. Speaker, yes. For the first 3 years in our Kenya Kwanza government, resources have been skewed. A county is getting 13 billion. My constituency was locked because of rains. It was not, you could not access Wajir North constituency for 2 months, April, May. The CS is a hard-working person, but it's like there is a systemic challenge. He is dealing with issues of equity. For how long shall we claim to be in Kenya when we are not yet embraced? Am I not a Kenyan? Are roads not for all Kenyans? This is a joke, Mr. Speaker. This is a joke. I am on the Ethiopian border. Shall I fly the Ethiopian flag? Shall I fly any Al-Shabaab? We are fighting Al-Shabaab as, I mean, Mr. Speaker, I'm sorry. Can we be embraced as Kenyans? Can we be accepted? This is a good thing for those who are privileged. For those who are not privileged, this is music. It doesn't ring a bell.
You
Thank
made
you,
the
Mr.
point.
Speaker.
You made the point. The Honorable Khalif, please, emotions aside, use exactly 2 minutes so that your colleagues can also...
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I would like to support the motion of Mheshimiwa Faith. Mr. Speaker, roads in this country has been skewed to few counties since the inception of this country, 1963. Some roads, some people are talking about road furniture. They're talking about pedestrian section. They're talking about road marking. Those are road furnitures. It's like somebody having had already 2 meals and waiting for a dessert, while others are hungry and they don't have anything to eat. I mean, this is just a joke. For example, we have some roads. The benefits of roads is uniform, interconnectivity, and transportation of goods and services between counties and towns. But when we have roads that are being used by criminal gangs, like the road between Elwak through Alungu, Lafe, Fino, Arabia up to Mandera, that road is barely 10 kilometers away from Somali border. Mr. Speaker, we always have what we call IEDs. Most of you don't know what it means. These are explosive devices being used by criminal gangs to kill our people by planting them on these weather roads. Now, when you are putting money on double carriages and other, funny things, which is good also, by the way, and leaving out roads that are being used to kill our people, I think that's unfair, Mr. Speaker. I therefore urge the Ministry of Transport and the government in general to prioritize these roads that are having security issues, the road between Elwak to Lafe, Mandera. We have said it many times. The government of the President, William Ruto, has tried. They started the road between Isiolo to Mandera. Although we have some sections, the sections between Abaswein to Modogashe, and the section between Ramu to Mandera, which had annuity programs. We urge the government to deal with those contractors, earlier contractors, and cancel those contracts and give it back to Kenya so that it's going to be awarded to these contractors to start the work. Mr. Speaker, we need to have uniformity in this country. If we don't have, we treat people equally, that will create, animosity between government and its citizens. That's why now we have some, revolts between Gen Zs and that. These are the things that if you do it properly well, you will have a uniform, development. It will create, sense of belongings. With those few remarks, thank you very much.
We have limited time. Lalmengit and then Yakundi, but let's see. Take as few minutes as possible.
Thank you. Thank you, Honorable Speaker. I want to thank Honorable Faith for this motion on expansion of major roads in dualing the carriageways. First, Honorable Speaker, so that I can be brief, is on safety. Kenya records many fatal accidents annually. where we've lost several lives. Case example is on the road from Mombasa to Nairobi to Malaba border through Eldoret. Honorable Speaker, we've had several cases. And again, Honorable Speaker, upgrading has been long overdue. These roads were built early 80s, 70s, and 90s. In 1990, Honorable Speaker, for example, Kenya had almost 400,000 cars. But now, as we speak, Honorable Speaker, 2025, we have close to 4.5 million cars in this country, plying the same road. This is absurd, Honorable Speaker. So I want to echo Honorable Faith Gitau for this motion she has brought here today. Thirdly, Honorable Speaker, these roads must be upgraded into world standards. You see, speed bumps are placed anyhowly. This we have to maintain, Honorable Speaker, that on residential, schools, and such places, Honorable Speaker, we have the required and standard road bumps. Even the rebels, Honorable Speaker, they are put all over, and they are not into standard, which always damage people's cars. Many people are going to garage, Honorable Speaker, because of the substandard speed bumps and the rebels. So, Honorable Speaker, that is the part that I would want to urge our engineers and the Ministry of Transport to consider on safety as a priority. Second, thirdly, Honorable Speaker, is on the statement. I made a statement almost 1 month ago, Honorable Speaker, requesting on the upgrade of the Eldoret Kapsabet Javakali Road, Honorable Speaker. I have not gotten the feedback for the last 2 months, Honorable Speaker. So I would like you to consider on that advice. Finally, Honorable Speaker, as much as we complain so much and urge the government to do construction and expansion of these major roads in the country, Honorable Speaker, the Mombasa, Nairobi, Malaba Road dual carriage is a welcomed idea. I want to thank the Honorable CS, Chirchir, especially making sure that all the contractors on the bending works have been returned to site. And every contractor was paid 40% of the certificate raised without knowing anyone. Most of these times, the past times, Honorable Speaker, you had to push for these payments. But every contractor that owed the government, that the government owed them some money, every contractor was paid 40% of the raised certificate, which means this is a nice way to go moving forward. Finally, to thank the President, Honorable Speaker, for even the Isiolo, Mandera, the road through Modogashe, which most of the members here have talked about it, opening up the interior parts of this country. We need to distribute resources equally across the country so that every Kenyan can feel part and parcel of this country. Thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Honorable members, I think we will have to rise, but then this debate will continue next week, Wednesday. And the following members are on the first shot or bite will be by the Honorable Nyakundi, an Honorable MP for Mandera North, Bashir, MP for Moyale Jaldesa,